26 in just 4 Premier League games so far as Leicester City get us underway. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The usual goal service on a Saturday afternoon will go here, there and everywhere. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in, whether it be at our reporters dotted around the country or indeed off the trusted video printer that is just in front of me. And I would imagine that we will be seeing quite a few here today. Certainly that is the expectation, and that also is the daunting task that awaits Leicester City, who are one of 6 sides who have failed to win in their opening 5 games. The first time in English top-flight history that 6 teams have failed to get a victory at such a stage of any campaign. As the ball goes back to Raya and out to Gabriel. And there's already been a goal, and it's at Brentford. Henry Moran.
Oh, they've taken an age today. 23 seconds last week, 40 seconds this week. 3 games running they've scored within a minute. Remarkable. Brian Mbeumo hooking the ball into the top corner. Brentford 1, West Ham 0.
West Ham United only 1 win in 5 in the Premier League as Martinelli is sent forward on that far side, but Mads Hermansen was quickly out of his goal, all in green for that Leicester City rearguard action. A good anticipation from the Leicester keeper.
Do you know what? Going back to that Mbeumo goal, the statisticians will be all over it, but I can never remember a team scoring 3 times in a row in the first minute of each game, and that is an extraordinary thing to see. That cannot be a fluke. They must have been working on it.
So Brentford, after back-to-back defeats in the Premier League, off to a flyer with Brian Mbeumo. 1-0 they lead. Leicester City playing from right to left as we look. Lose the ball. Havertz over the halfway line. Arsenal in their red and white shirts and white shorts, playing from left to right as we look. Calafiori now out towards Martinelli in the sunshine here in North London. As then it goes back to Gabriel. Saliba will take over that trusted central defensive partnership. Partey passes the ball. Saka away from Christensen with ease. Macaulay comes across to double up. Saka though will try and beat him. Barged over. Referee says no foul. As we're going to go racing at Newmarket, it's the Juddmonte Middle Park Stakes. John Hunt.
We've come well past halfway here, Ian, down to the 2 pole. The leader is Dash Dizzy, the favourite Whistle Jacket, trying to produce a run now, but also Shadow of Light for Charlie Appleby and William Buick coming right into contention. These 3 a little way clear of Defence Minister and are staying on Black Forza, but it's Shadow of Light who has by some way found the best turn of foot and is coming clear in the closing stages. An impressive winner, Shadow of Light, streaking away to win by 5 lengths from Whistle Jacket. Whistle Jacket himself with some great form coming into the race, but he's been left behind today by Shadow of Light, William Buick, on the latest big race winner, the Middle Park Stakes.
As Arsenal are attacking, Martinelli in towards Rice, couldn't take it in his stride. We'll have the Cambridgeshire a little later on as well at 3:40 for what will be a real cavalry charge at Newmarket for that, the feature race of the day. Morecambe 1, Notts County 0 is the latest score in League 2. Somewhat of a surprise, Morecambe who are yet to win. So they are ahead in League 2. No other goals to tell you about as the ball goes back to Hermansen, and he's not fazed at all by the presence of Havertz, and they pass the ball out from the back.
Quite comfortable from the goalkeeper there, but it's a really intriguing way that Havertz is playing today. He's playing behind Trossard, so Trossard's out now, kind of centre forward, and Havertz is basically wherever he wants to be behind that, trying to find the space and arrive deep. Very, very dangerous position for Havertz, and finally a team playing him in his best position.
The voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live. After Sports Report, we've got another commentary for you at Molineux. Wolves against Liverpool at 5:30. Liverpool 2 points behind Manchester City after that draw at St James's Park. In the Championship, incidentally, the 3 results: Blackburn beat Queen's Park Rangers 2-0, Derby 2, Norwich 3, Sheffield Wednesday beat West Bromwich Albion by 3-2. In League 1 it was Crawley 0, Bolton 2, Reading 2, Huddersfield 1. And the 2 results in League 2, Harrogate Town beat Bradford City by 2-1, and Walsall have actually gone top of League 2, beating Colchester by 4-0. Partey for Arsenal in the midfield. Tried to pass it forward, blocked by Ndidi, falls towards Vardy. Vardy now runs forward, Ndidi's going ahead of him. Mavididi also joins the attack. Vardy waits, passes the ball out towards that far side, and that was an option for James Justin. He got the shot away, it was blocked, and then Arsenal cheaply have given it back away to Leicester. Here is Winks, gets it back from Buonanotte. Buonanotte able to turn, rolls it out, but didn't have the pace to get to Mavididi. And a promising break by the away side.
Yeah, do you know what? Just off the ball there. I'm trying to see who that was wiped out. It might have been Timber, who was completely. It can be Timber. I can see him there. It could be Partey actually. It's come back. You know, one of the players has gone down off the ball, completely wiped out. By the way, if that was deliberate, the referee didn't see it at all. But if it's deliberate, we'll definitely look at it. But the players don't seem to be too upset, so he's probably okay.
We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. Thank you for your company here this afternoon. Here we are in North London under the clear blue skies. I say clear blue skies, there is still the odd fluffy cloud in the distance, but primarily it's a lovely afternoon in North London. There's a stoppage in play. In the Premier League, Brentford are leading West Ham by 1-0. Cheltenham 0, Fleetwood 1 is the latest score in League 2. And Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 1 is the latest score in League 1. Birmingham unbeaten, second in the table in League 1, but Peterborough themselves going well, and they have taken the lead at St Andrews as Hermansen, the Danish goalkeeper, plays it out towards O'Colly on this near side, towards Ndidi. Arsenal trying to press, and it goes out for a Leicester throw.
For those interested, it was Saka and it was wiped out there. Buonanotte just came across him. He says it was undeliberate, but it's amazing how often that happens to a player who's a creative player when he gets a chance to do that. But Saka's back up, looking fit again.
A lot of the questions to Mikel Arteta in his press conference ahead of this game were based about the fact that recently they've spent a lot of time without the ball. Now they're going to have the ball. They're going to be missing that creative presence of Martin Ødegaard. Mikel Arteta says we will just have to try and find a way out, of course, with that ankle injury, as Saka has overrun that. Has he? No, doesn't go out of play. Comes to Partey on the edge of the area. First attempt to thread it through was blocked, and then it's picked up by Timber. Now towards Saliba, out towards Martinelli, and it goes out for a throw.
Very quickly, Saka's got the ball twice against the fullback, and both times, looking unnatural, he's gone down the line. Clearly his man just told him to do that because he's not comfortable doing that, and the reason for doing that is you push the player that's marking you down the line a bit, gives you space to come inside, so watch him next time.
Mentioned that Peterborough had taken the lead. News of that goal at St Andrews. Nestor McGregor.
Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 1, a calamity of a goal. Birmingham City trying to play out, the ball found its way back to Bailey Peacock Farrell in goal, got caught under his feet, tried to go around the striker who just bumbled it in right on the line. Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 1.
Arsenal are one of the four sides who are still unbeaten in the Premier League. Brighton and Hove Albion are another, and there's been a goal. John Southall.
And they lead at Stamford Bridge by 0-0. Chelsea 0, Brighton. What a right mess at the back from Chelsea. A clearance wasn't dealt with properly. It ballooned up into the air, and Ruta was there with the header. Sanchez couldn't get anywhere near it, and his header nestled into the bottom right-hand corner. Ruta's still down injured, but Brighton have the lead by 0-0.
Thank you, John. Ruta, who was signed from Leeds United, and well, that's certainly a good start for them at Stamford Bridge to maintain their unbeaten start to the season. And it's also his first goal that he's scored in his fifth appearance for Brighton this season. Free kick to Arsenal, Pat.
Maybe slightly surprised that a yellow card didn't come out there. That was a tackle. It went over the top of the ball, got a little bit of the ball first. It was definitely a short one in Martinelli. However, he's recovered and he's on the ball.
And he's been taking that free kick down the left-hand side. Martinelli to the byline, looks to try and work it across to the near post. Cleared by Buonanotte, only as far as Saliba. Passes the ball back out towards Rice. Rice now right-footed, flat ball in, headed up in the air by Ndidi. Not away though, bouncing ball might go behind for a corner. Now all of a sudden this is where Leicester will be tested at a set piece.
Really look good down the wings just now. Martinelli's got the ball a couple of times. He's straight to the line. Same from Saka on the right-hand side. Just trying to draw those defenders. There's the back four. They just want to pull them wide, try and get to the byline as often as they can, and when they get there, they look so dangerous, Arsenal.
Look out for Gabriel. Saliba will also be in the mix. Calafiore is up from the back.
I think everybody knows what Arsenal are doing now. They can know it, but can they stop it?
Well, Saka's the one to take it on this near side. And certainly the Leicester coaching staff are desperate to get some instructions across to their players at the moment. A lot of red and white shirts have gathered at the far post. In it comes from Saka, right down the throat of Hermansen. I mentioned earlier that Crawley were beaten by Bolton. They're without a win in 7 there. Scott Lindsay, of course, left during the week, went to take charge of MK Dons, and MK Dons, who'd lost all 5 games away from home, have taken the lead at Bromley in League 2. Bromley 0, MK Dons 1. I was about to say you're up to date, but there's just been a goal at Goodison. John Bennett.
A goal for Crystal Palace. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1. Looks as though Mark Gahey got the final touch. Header at the back post by Lacroix, and Gahey was there on the line to just poke it into the back of the net. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Rice curling ball in, headed away by Christensen, drops inside the penalty area, cleared on the volley by Ndidi. I think that's the first time that Palace have taken the lead this season.
Yeah, and Everton having a really tough time. Another team that have been really competitive for a good number of the games, obviously going ahead regularly, but not a good start for them. Just a moment ago there, for the second time in the game, Leicester managed to break really quite quickly. However, when he's at the back, Rice 1-on-1. I don't think there's anybody who looks more calm than him.
Here is Havertz, right corner of the area, back to Partey, switches it back out towards the right, about 4 yards in from the touchline. Saka finds Partey once more, 30 yards out from goal. Rice, Calafiori now far side the left. Martinelli is out on that left touchline, level with the penalty area, but instead they go back to Gabriel. Every outfield player then in the half away towards our right. St Mirren are leading at Fir Park. Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds here at the Emirates, 0-0, 11 minutes played. Here is Gabriel, he waits, out to Rice once more. Trossard looks to try and get on the end of it. Havertz was there, couldn't get a meaningful touch. Timber's overrun it, out of play, goes for a throw.
That was absolutely brilliant. I watched Havertz for about 30 seconds before that. The ball was being played around and he wouldn't go near the box. Just stayed out of it, waiting to arrive when the cross was played in. Do you know so many people that are desperate to get into it quickly? He's such a clever player.
Little flick by Trossard to Saka. Does a little turn, now has his back to the byline and plays it to Partey in field. Gabriel passes it out wide left-hand side to Martinelli. Rice has made a run to the edge of the area. Calafiori is an option. He goes further square towards Partey. Now right corner of the box is Saka. Helps it. They've worked it well. Havertz unmarked. Havertz with a little dink ball headed away by Wout Faes. Comes towards Saka. Nods it back towards Timber. And Arsenal really are applying a lot of pressure as Carlisle lead Grimsby Town by a goal to 0 at Brunton Park in League 2. Saka, right side of the area, plays it back towards Partey, looks for a shooting opportunity, instead passes it to Timber, has a shot blocked, comes back to Timber, now delivers the cross, cleared by Calibre Collett.
We really are turning it up now, and turning the screw right now, Arsenal. Leicester City cannot get out of the final third of the pitch, but it's not slow passing, they're zipping it right, going down the left, going down the right, making really intelligent third man runs. Arsenal at the moment, it looks like just a matter of time.
If you think back to last weekend where Manchester City were applying the pressure and Arsenal were the team who were digging in, on this occasion it's Arsenal now who are probing. They're looking for the penetration, and it's Leicester City who've got their backs to the wall, all in royal blue, as Martinelli left corner of the area. Martinelli waits, Rice in field, Gabriel, he goes further square. This is Partey, now to Timber, the right back, forward ball, right corner of the area. Havertz, Christensen up against him, towards Saka. Still, they can't find a way through that royal blue line. As now it's with Calafiori. Rice, left corner of the area. They're having to be patient. They're trying to prise open this Leicester City defence. Here is Calafiori. Thought about the shot, changes his mind, passes it to Partey. Havertz, Timber on the overlap, slightly behind him. Still has the ball. Pass it to Partey. Now to Havertz, right-hand side. Timber once more. Timber with the cross. Repelled by the head of O'Coley. Let's go to Nottingham Forest. Pat Murphy.
Forest 0, Fulham 0. 2 corners to both sides. Close to so in 1 year for Fulham. Wriggled through. Low cross, but no takers. Forest 0, Fulham 0.
Goalless there. Goalless here. Palace are ahead at Everton. Chelsea 0, Brighton 1. Brentford 1, West Ham 0. It finished 1-1 between Newcastle United and Manchester City. Calafiori out towards Martinelli once again. Havertz appealing for the ball, is totally unmarked. It's crossed towards Havertz, gets his head onto it, but heads it up rather than back into the danger area, and eventually it's hooked clear.
You make a good point. The fact it's similar to the game against Manchester City, except this time it's Arsenal are doing the attacking, but they're moving quicker.
Saka with a shot from distance. And Hermansen down to his right with a comfortable save.
Yeah, but Arsenal moving the ball quicker. If you watched the game against Manchester City last week, Man City, it was a bit laboured the way they were passing it around the 18-yard line. There's a bit more intelligence about the way Arsenal are doing it. They're not cramming right into that final 20 yards or so. They're allowing players to run from a little bit deeper, but also they don't hang about on the ball too long when they've got it there. They keep on moving players.
Saliba steps out of defence, gets it to Saka. Saka prizes open the Leicester defence to find Martinelli, and Martinelli left-footed, couldn't keep it down. Well, Jamie Vardy was dispossessed, and all of a sudden Leicester were cut open, but Martinelli couldn't keep his effort down. Goal kick, 0-0.
Feel a wee bit sorry for Martinelli there. The ball's played him maybe a tiny bit behind him. He's dragged it into the right position and trying to have the shot there, but he knew that Vice was coming in at speed there, so he tried to dink it over him. But by doing that, he dinked over him, goalkeeper and the crossbar. So actually, Vice doesn't get a touch on it there, but he does really, really well to put Martinelli off, but he should have got it on target.
This is Martinelli, who's gone 19 games since his last goal, which was against Sheffield United back in March. 0-0. Calafiore tries to win it on the halfway line, booted downfield by Fass, Leicester central defender. Rice running back into his own half in the bright sunshine, then cleared away downfield by Gabriel. Once again Fass is there, and in the end it's Justin who heads it out of play for a Arsenal throw to Stamford Bridge from North London to West. John Southall.
Well, the sun is shining. Chelsea 0, Brighton 1. Brighton dominating the game. Danny Welbeck on the right hand side, his cross took a deflection, and there was Sanchez with the reflex save. It's all Brighton. Chelsea 0, Brighton 1.
Thank you, John. Calafiore back to Gabriel. Saliba receives the ball across that middle part of the Arsenal half away towards our left, as Declan Rice is now in possession for Arsenal. Goes to Gabriel. Calafiore has gone ahead of him in like that inverted role. Martinelli also on the left. It's hoisted out to this near side to Saka. Havertz is in close proximity, finds the German on the stretch. Mavididi then tries to get in the way, and Mavididi is knocked to the floor. Mavididi, who began his career at Arsenal but didn't actually make any appearances for Arsenal. A goal in the Championship at Ellen Road. Charlie Slater.
With 15 minutes on the clock, Ellen Road comes alive. Leeds 1, Coventry 0. Firpo with a brilliant low cross to the edge of the box. Nonto with his boot sticks it straight into the roof of the net. No chance for the keeper. 1-0 Leeds.
And also Peterborough United have doubled their lead at St Andrews. Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2, and in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1 is a latest score at Dens Park. And I know that Ailey had mentioned ahead of kickoff that they were going to pay tribute to Fabian Caballero, who sadly has passed away playing futsal back with friends in Paraguay at the age of 46. 5 seasons he spent at Dundee, 142 appearances, 27 goals. Arsenal also paid tribute to Fabian Caballero because he did actually make 3 appearances on loan here in between 98 and 99. We'll get news of that Aberdeen goal when we can from Ailey, but it's 0-0 so far.
Just underline, I played against Caballero as well, and he's one of those players, had it not been for an injury at a bad time, he would have been fabulously famous at the very top level of the game.
Calafiore in field, Declan Rice forward. Bristol Rovers are leading Wycombe by a goal to 0. Hull City 0, Cardiff City 1. Cardiff, who sacked their manager during the week, only their second goal that they've scored in the Championship this season, and they're leading at Hull City as Arsenal on the attack, left-hand side. Trossard, who goes out to that left touch line on this occasion. Gabriel, he stayed out wide as well as the Belgian. As in a minute, Martinelli has gone central. Trossard twisting and turning, can't deliver the cross, passes it to Gabriel, try and link up, and Justin with the clearance. Back to St Andrews, Nesta McGregor.
Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2. The home side's unbeaten record under real threat. Second goals come from an in-swinging corner. Emmanuel Fernandez up from the back, near post header, rose highest, powerful past the keeper. Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2.
Saka on the attack, Timber on the overlap, works over the cross! Martinelli falling backwards, guides it into the bottom left-hand corner. His goal drought is over, and Arsenal's pressure tells. Martinelli with a goal, Arsenal 1-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, really good break, because the ball was wide, long up the park. Vardy had it. He feels as if he was dragged off the ball. That's something we'll have to have a closer look at. Vardy's actually already been yellow carded for having another dig at the referee. However, you have to get on with the game, and down they went to the right hand side. And again, talking about those wingers getting to bylines or getting other players to the bylines, it was crossed back there. He still had a huge amount to do around about the penalty area, but when he got there, he just finished it. The simplest one in the world, an overlapping fullback from Saka, and he's just turned, spinned, no great power in it, sliced to the far corner, keeper didn't even move. 1-0 was coming, I think we said.
I think so, yes, and his first goal in 20, and Arsenal are ahead. Motherwell have equalised at Fir Park. Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1. Blackpool are leading Burton by a goal to nil. They've won all of their 3 previous games under Steve Bruce in League 1, and they're leading ahead at Bloomfield Road. And in the top of the table clash in League 2, there's been a goal at Priestfield. Lawrence Herdman.
The leaders behind, Gillingham 1, Barrow 0. Robbie McKenzie with a slide rule pass round the back of the Barrow defence, and Jayden Clark, who scored twice in the last home match, with a composed finish. Gillingham 1, Barrow 0.
Pat, you mentioned that Jamie Vardy had got a yellow card. Steve Cooper too.
Absolutely, and for exactly the same thing. They're both absolutely fuming. I think it was Saliba who was a 1-on-1 on Jamie Vardy. And it's interesting though, because when Arsenal are attacking, they're leaving Jamie Vardy 1-on-1. By the way, you've never used to do that sort of thing in the past. However, I'm absolutely convinced that he was fouled. It should have been filled up, he wasn't, and that's why both men are furious and both men are in the book.
Arsenal are ahead. Another goal at Stamford Bridge. John Southall.
Chelsea have the equaliser. Chelsea 1, Brighton 1. Error from Webster, played it to Jackson. He swept it across to Cole Palmer, and he did the rest, as he does. Chelsea 1, Brighton 1.
And let's get news of that goal for Aberdeen from Eilidh Barber.
And it comes from Kevin Nisbet, his 3rd goal in his 4th appearance since moving back north of the border, and it gives Aberdeen a 1-0 lead. First time finish from the striker. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 1.
Well, there's no let up from Arsenal. They've got the goal, but they're still all at Leicester.
Declan Rice there, brilliant. I mean, you don't know where he's playing just now. He's sometimes the deepest lying player, sometimes he's central midfield. There he was left wing getting to the byline. The only complaint it would make, he gets there, and for some reason he doesn't make the cross to his left foot. Tries to get it on his right foot, leaves it too long, and instead of creating a chance, only gets a corner kick. But Rice, he's been superb today so far.
And it's Rice who goes across towards that far side, the left, as we approach the midway point of the first half, with Arsenal leading Leicester City by a goal to nil to take the corner kick. Arm goes aloft for Declan Rice. It's a right-footed corner in towards the near post. Now Colley manages to get it away. Martinelli, the goal scorer, passes the ball back towards the England international, delivers the ball in. Bonotti heads it away under pressure. Winks then just touches the ball forward to Mavididi. Leicester can't get hold of the ball at the moment, Pat.
It's a real shame for them, because I mean, they believe Mavididi's a lovely player to watch. If you can get him in the final third, you just can't get him to the final third. And part of the problem is they are basically playing a 4-5-1 when they lose the ball, and that one up front is miles away from everyone else.
Trossard collects it from Martinelli, tries to dance his way forward into that penalty area, but is forced to turn around because of the amount of blue shirts that are there. Finds Rice, gives it back towards Trossard, left corner of the area. Gabriel back towards Rice. Trossard stays out wide left. Shrewsbury 1, Rotherham 0 is the latest score in League 1. Hull City have levelled in the Championship. Hull City 1, Cardiff City 1. Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, as Arsenal have been awarded a free kick. And they wanted to take it quickly, but they're unable to do so. We'll nip to Goodison, John Bennett.
Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1. The first decent chances for Everton, both falling to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, including an effort saved off the line. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Arsenal have won their last 5 meetings against Leicester. And it looks like it's going to be a question of just by how many, on the evidence of what we've seen so far.
It does feel a wee bit like that, but just the one thing that's in my mind, the league and Vardy 1-1. Time and time again, and I know he's not as young as he used to be, but you don't do that with Vardy. He loves that.
Rice, flat free kick, cleared up the air by Skip, headed forward by Timber, volleyed down into the ground by Calafiori, straight at Hermansen. Bromley have equalised in League 2, Bromley 1, MK Dons 1. No other goals to tell you about here on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. We've got commentary to come after Sports Report from Molineux, and then tomorrow we've got 2 more games, Ipswich Aston Villa at 2, as Leicester lose the ball. Here is Rice into the penalty area, Martinelli steadies himself, beaten out by Hermansen, and then hooked clear by Winks. And Leicester at the minute have given the ball away again. They're architects of their own downfall at the moment.
Yeah, but they've been set traps by Arsenal. That's the same trap that Arsenal set twice in a row there, and get the ball right dead centre of the field there. When they get it right dead centre of the field, Martinelli knows. He flies down the left-hand side. That is 2 opportunities he's had from exactly the same trap.
Carlisle United 1, Grimsby Town 1 is the latest score in League 2, and Millwall have taken the lead at home to Preston North End in the Championship. Millwall 1, Preston North End 0. Back to Chelsea, John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Brighton 1. Here come Chelsea again with Madueke just on the edge of the penalty area, and that one rolls out, and that will go behind for a goal kick. Goal disallowed though. Sancho thought he'd scored. Madueke was offside. Chelsea 1, Brighton 1.
It means that the only goalless game in the Premier League is at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 0. Palace still lead at Everton. 1-1 there at Stamford Bridge. Brentford, after that very early goal, still leading against West Ham United. And Arsenal, who lead by a goal to 0, have got a corner.
They have got a corner, and they just look dangerous every time. Now, everybody knows, the power, the physicality, the amount of time that they work on these free kicks and these corner kicks that they get. And you look at Arsenal sometimes, the history of them and the fact they've got that type of manager. But they're playing in such defensive ways away from Manchester City. They're not getting forward and then using this physicality. Very old school, isn't it? In some ways.
Rice waits to take it once again. They're gathering at the far post in those red and white shirts. A little bit of jostling inside that crowded 6-yard area. Hermansen gets a fist on it, comes out towards Saka, off his chest, edge of the area. Left-footed effort blocked by the ankles of Ndidi, and then Trossard is the one running back who just knocks it towards Saliba, and with Vardy running towards him, he takes no chances towards David Raya.
It's what I'd love to see. Yeah. And if you go and leave it, and it's usually, either Saliba or Gabriel's been left to Jamie Vardy, he just wants 1 or 2 runs at those to find out if they're good enough defenders. They might be, because they are pretty good.
Trossard chips the ball to the penalty area to Partey, battling for it, headed away by Skip, comes out to Trossard. Trossard uses his strength to try and win the ball. Navadidi tries to hold him off, but Trossard was still going. He was like a little terrier.
But it was on again. It was absolutely on again there. You had 1-on-1, just turn round, lump it over the top and find out if Vardy can get there. I cannot believe the Leicester midfielders haven't spotted it yet. It's on time and again.
Cambridge United 0, Lincoln City 1. Cambridge United bottom of League 1, yet to win this season, behind at the Abbey Stadium. Carlisle United 2, Grimsby Town 1, and another goal at St Andrews. Nestor McGregor.
Birmingham City 1, Peterborough United 2. The home side back in the game. Wonderful play down the left-hand side by Emil Hansen. Low cross, and running in from the other flank to tap home was William Williamson. Birmingham City 1, Peterborough United 2.
5 Live here at the Emirates. We'll be back here in midweek as well, Tuesday night. Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League will be our commentary. We're going to Stamford Bridge. There's a penalty. John Southall.
It's a Chelsea penalty. Chelsea 1, Brighton 1. Sancho brought down by Belieber, and here comes Cole Palmer in front of the shed end. He's just equalised for Chelsea. Steps up and scores. Bottom left-hand corner. Chelsea 2, Brighton 1.
He never misses.
He never misses. And more importantly, this is not a Southall-esque game, is it? 2-1 this early in the game, and the one thing you've got to say about Chelsea, they are never, ever boring these days.
To be fair to John, he did say that. It was Lord Chapman that tried to put the mockers on it.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have turned that around. They're leading by 2-1. Match of the day tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Christensen in a tussle with Trossard. Christensen holds him off, then he's faced by Saka. Passes the ball forward to Mavadidi. O'Colly clears it up towards Jamie Vardy. Just a gentle nudge in the back by Saliba, and Arsenal easily dealt with that, and they're back in possession.
Saliba's done really well there, hasn't he? He's just laid a little bit more on Vardy. Vardy's already on a yellow card. He's getting a bit annoyed at the moment. It's very, very hard for Jamie, but he's had that all his career. Just see if he gets one run. 1-1-1. That's all he wants.
After West Bromwich Albion's defeat at Hillsborough, there was a chance for Sunderland to go top of the Championship. However, Aaron Paul.
2.5 hour mark, Watford 1, Sunderland 0. Festi Ebeselli with a stunning strike on the volley, left-footed, following a cracking cross from Yasser Larouci on the far side. It's totally deserved. Watford 1, Sunderland 0.
Totally deserved here for Arsenal to be in front, leading by a goal to 0.
You think about it, Martinelli scored one, but he could have had a hat-trick, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Left-hand side, the ball's been played through him. They know that there is a slight weakness in that area, particularly when Leicester are built from the back and lose the ball.
Ball is switched out towards Saka. away from Mavididi. Tried to bring him down. Christensen did with a firm but fair challenge, and then Mavididi tries to run forward, but then Havertz and Timber and Arsenal are winning the ball back so quickly.
You know, it's hard if you're like Mavididi, particularly a few times it's happened. He wants to get on the ball, but you're getting on the ball 70, 80 yards from goal. If you're 70, 80 yards from goal, it's a long way to go, especially against good defenders. So they're having no impact whatsoever from the wide areas, Leicester City.
It was 6 years ago that Juventus paid Arsenal £1.3 million for Steffi Mavididi, who actually won the Under-21 Development League in 2016 during his time at Arsenal. Back to Stamford Bridge, John Southall.
Chelsea 2, Brighton 1. Chelsea have a free kick 25 yards out. Cole Palmer's on it. Should Belieber still be on the pitch though? Brought down Madueke. Was he through on goal? The referee said no. Gave him the yellow. Maresca's not happy. Free kick to come. Chelsea 2, Brighton 1.
Rice, Calafiori infield, gets away from one challenge. Ndidi then brings him down at the second attempt and then speaks out of turn, and Ndidi is shown a yellow card.
Yeah, and Calafiori looks, he's growing game by game, isn't he? I mean, he's got a great goal the other week there, but when he gets on the ball, he wants to go forward. He looks really comfortable, and he had a great Euros, didn't he? He had a fantastic Euros as well, and he has certainly added to a position that was kind of problematic for Arsenal for quite some time.
Yeah, he's certainly done well, and the fact they can play either as a central defender or at left back gives another option, of course, for Mikel Arteta. Let's go back to John at Stamford Bridge.
Wow, Chelsea 3, Brighton 1. Cole Palmer, 25 yards out, has just curled the ball into the top right-hand corner. He's got his hat-trick. Chelsea 3, Brighton 1.
What a signing he's been.
I'd actually written down his name before we went to John and showed it. I know who's going to have scored that. I think a lot of people did, because it was a free kick, and wow, what a signing, as you say.
Come on then, Mystic Meg, what's going to happen with this free kick?
I don't think Declan Rice is going to score it there. It's about 45 yards out.
It's a central position, and as Pat quite rightly says, he's a long way out. Arsenal leading by 1-0. The left arm goes aloft. In fact, he's not even looked like he's going to have a go at goal. Instead, he's going to right-footed chip the ball deep into the penalty area. O'Colly heads it away, and Mavididi volleys the ball, and it's collected then by Saliba. Seems a long time ago since we went to you, Henry, for that early goal.
Yep, Brentford 1, West Ham 0. Brahim Mbeumo inside of 36 seconds. Third match running they've scored inside a minute. Brentford, a Premier League record. Since then, West Ham have been the better of the two sides. Kudus coming close, forcing Flecken into a save at the near post, but it remains Brentford 1, West Ham 0.
So with Brighton trailing 3-1, they were one of the four sides who was still unbeaten. Manchester City, of course, have maintained their unbeaten run after that 1-1 draw at Newcastle. Arsenal and Forest are the other two. Martinelli into the penalty area for Arsenal, leading by 1-0 here on 5 Live. Looks for a shooting opportunity, squirms over a cross, takes a deflection behind for a corner.
He's looking really lively, Martinelli. I mean, times in the past we've seen him, he's very much in and out of games, and his confidence isn't great sometimes. He can be very peripheral. He's not been peripheral today, and they want to give him the ball time after time after time. I mean, over the years, sometimes it's just because Saka has been so important, he gets much more of the ball. Right now, I'd say Martinelli's getting at least as much as Saka.
Doncaster Rovers 0, Chesterfield 1 is the latest score in League 2. So in front of the travelling support, for those of you who've ever been here to the Emirates, over on that far left corner, Declan Rice places the ball down in the quadrants. Just adjusts his shorts, waits to deliver the cross. Arsenal still 1-0 up, in it comes. Hermansen has dropped it under pressure from his own player, and eventually O'Colly digs it out. Back it goes towards Rice, steadies himself, fires it back in low, comes to the edge of the box, and it's Vardy who pokes the ball clear. All to the pump there for Leicester City.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hermansen comes, tries to deliver with it, and doesn't in the end, because he drops it, and everyone left it for each other. Terrible moment there.
Here is Timber on the underlap with the cross just over the head of Havertz. Down into the ground was Martinelli. O'Colly gets it away. Another goal at Chelsea. He hasn't got a fourth, has he?
He hasn't. It's Chelsea 3, Brighton 2. Mistake from Sanchez at the back. His clearance fell to Belieber, and he's just swept it in. We played 34 minutes. It's Chelsea 3, Brighton 2.
I think we know what's going to be leading the game on Match of the Day tonight at 10:30. Timber with the cross, two both try and head it away. Skip and O'Colly. Winks then will skip forward. Here is Skip, passes the ball back to Christensen, who turns. No foul. Oh yes, there was a foul, says the referee. It's given the free kick to Leicester. Middlesbrough leading Stoke City by a goal to nil. Newport County leading Crewe by a goal to nil. Crewe, who've won their last 4 in League Two, are behind, and Aberdeen have got a second. Dundee 0, Aberdeen 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and indeed Ailey can tell us all about it.
Yeah, Aberdeen moving 3 points clear at the top of the table as things stand at the moment. Keskinen, who set up the first, had the option to play in the first goal scorer Kevin Nisbet, decided to go himself, smashed it past John McCracken. It's Dundee 0, Aberdeen 2.
Thank you, Ailey. There were boos just before from the Arsenal supporters. It's because I think they thought that one of the Leicester players had kicked the ball away before the free kick could be taken. Still a sore point.
Yeah, understandably so. You know, it's happened to two players. Declan Rice very, very obviously get done with it. You know, I did feel particularly sorry for him, less so for Trossard. I think it was a wee bit more obvious when he did it. But yes, the Arsenal fans are they won't forget that for a little while.
It was Ndidi, and of course Ndidi has already been booked, so that would have meant that Leicester were down to 10. Hull City 2, Cardiff City 1 is the latest score in the Championship. We've got about 9 minutes to go to half time. Let's get another update from the City ground. Pat Murphy.
Against Fulham, this game certainly won't be leading match of the day tonight. Forest rather ponderous, the crowd quite quiet. Fulham the more fluent side. Forest 0, Fulham 0.
That'll be the game that you've just nodded off and you realise that you've missed most of the game before the closing credits, or is that just me?
You didn't mention the dribbling. So the way that's going on just now is that if Arsenal score another goal, you just feel as if there's no way back for Leicester, and it's looking more and more likely as it goes on.
Trossard with a cross, waiting his Havertz with a downward header. O'Cully got the shout to leave it. I thought that was just going to bounce its way into the bottom right-hand corner, but it was a good shout. It was going wide. Goal kick. Arsenal still lead 1-0.
Everyone just froze, didn't they? Goes to the back post, nods it down. Keeper cannot change his direction, and everyone in this crowd just held their breath, and it just went past, and no more. I mean, it was really interesting though. Yeah, it was O'Cully who was close to it as well. Might have even just tipped the post as it's gone past there. A beautiful header with no power, but it didn't need it.
We all know you're the one who's the dribbler.
I was waiting for that.
And Everton fans will testify to that from his time at Goodison Park. John Bennett.
Goodison Park a bit flat at the moment. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1. They're living dangerously. Everton, a shot from Nketiah was looped into the air, almost crossed the line. Dwight McNeil's just had a header wide for Everton. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Just over 7 minutes to go to half time. Arsenal leading Leicester by a goal to nil. Would you say, is this unfair, that if this was a boxing contest it would be stopped?
It wouldn't quite be stopped, but the referee would be looking at it very, very closely. But you know, you can always come back, you know, to keep the analogy going just a little bit too much. You know, they've got a knockout punch. Leicester have got that, and it is generally Vardy, but they might not be able to use it.
Trossard just trying to play in timber. I guess whilst it is 1-0, then Leicester still obviously have a chance, and that's why Arsenal have been pressing and pressing and pressing for a second goal to add to that one from Martinelli, scored after 20 minutes. In the Scottish Premiership at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Ross County 1, and Millwall have got a second goal at the Den against Preston North End. They now lead by 2-0 in the Championship. Arsenal have got a throw in on this right hand side, 10 yards up from the byline, in their red and white shirts, playing from left to right as we look here on the World Service BBC Sounds app, if you haven't yet downloaded it, where you can listen to live action as well as the various pods, and of course BBC Radio 5 Live. Christensen heads it clear, O'Cully clears only as far as Partey, heads it forward to Timber, lets it settle on the right hand side. They've doubled up on him and it goes out of play for a throw that he wants to take quickly. A looping throw for the run of Trossard, hooks it goalwards on the half volley, cleared long by Fass.
It's just timing again. You're absolutely right about it. Leicester are trying to play it out to the back. If they lump it, it's going to come back. There's only one player up there and there's nobody within 30-40 yards of him. It's nightmarish here if you're a Leicester player, because you can't get your foot in the ball in the midfield there, and you know, it's whether you do something about it, and the obvious thing is to try and bring up somebody who can give a little bit of help to Vardy, but that's taking a big chance against Arsenal.
Here is Timber waiting to take a throw in the sunshine on this near side. Saka plays it back to Partey. Timber just in from the touchline, tickles it down the line towards Trossard. Trossard has to get away from Mavadidi, tries to wrap his left leg around him, gets it towards Saka. Ndidi with the challenge. He's got to be careful, of course. Mavididi helps him out. Can't get past Partey. Arsenal keep the ball in play. Timber did well. He really was quite confined in terms of space, and the head just drops there for Steve Cooper because you're up against a quality side. Leicester, let's make no bones about it. This is an Arsenal side that is purring, leading by a goal to nil. Calafiori on the inside, left corner of the area, plays it out towards Martinelli, doesn't deliver it first time, goes back to the edge of the area. Gabriel now tees up Calafiori, works it towards Martinelli into the penalty area, and Justin has to concede the corner.
I think he made a great point there. I mean, the skills with Timber on the right hand side, and we've seen it earlier on from Calafiori as well. Really comfortable in the ball, want to get wide, know when to make the runs, and that's something that Arteta's added to this team. He's added lots of things over the last period, the obvious one being the physicality, but even the fullbacks now, they are seriously good footballers.
Interesting here that Nicholas Jova, who's the set-piece specialist, he's trying to get the Arsenal players to come away from where they're gathering at the far side of the 6-yard box for this corner kick on the left-hand side that Declan Rice is going to take. Now Martinelli makes a run to the near post. In it goes. Header from Okoli. Mavididi tries to get it away. Blocked by Trossard. Rebounds into the air. Back to the penalty box. Saliba's header forward. Referee's blown his whistle. Free kick to Leicester. Pat Nevin.
Did you see what happened there when they kicked it out, though? There was nobody, absolutely nobody, apart from Riley, the goalkeeper, within about 70 yards of the Arsenal goal. So had they had a break at all, there was not one defender. It just shows you the bravery, the confidence that Arsenal have got in their actual players at the back there. They will get back even if team break on them.
Let's get an update in the Rugby Union. Saracens Sale, Chris Jones.
Saracens 9, Sale 10. Sale lead thanks to Gus Ward's neat try. Rob Dupree with the break. Dupree playing at 10 because George Ford's gone off. Club and Country will hope that isn't too serious. But Sarri's having a good spell. They kicked a few penalties. Lazowski's got one bang in front, which would put Sarri's into the lead with 6 minutes to go until half-time. Upsets Lazowski. He's actually pushed it. So Sale still lead. Saracens 9, Sale 10, edging towards half-time.
Leicester City had made a foray into the Arsenal half. They lost it midway. And as Calafiori slows down on that far side, we've had 5 goals at Stamford Bridge. Make that 6. John Southall.
What a player. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. Cole Palmer scored his 4th goal of the afternoon. Again, it was a mistake from Brighton. Again, they gave the ball away. And there was Cole Palmer, left of the area, finished at the near post. Quite brilliant. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
Arsenal have had 75% of the possession in this first half, where they lead by a goal to nil with 2 minutes to go to half-time.
Do you know, I stood in the platform at Earls Court this morning, and there was a train going the Piccadilly line straight up to Arsenal, and there's another one, the District line, going to Chelsea. Did I choose the right one? I think this one's a good game. It has been a decent game, but wow, what about Stamford Bridge today?
Yeah, Cole Palmer with all 4 goals. 4-2 they're leading against Brighton, as Mavididi gets the ball from Ndidi. Timber tries to hold him up. It goes out of play for a throw that Steve Cooper will bounce down to Christensen to take it. I mean, that's the only pleasing thing from a Leicester City point of view, is that for all the possession that Arsenal have had, it's still only 1-0.
Yeah, the jeopardy is still there. It's always there with 1-0. I mean, it's happened recently. You know, watch that Spurs played against Leicester early on this season. Spurs absolutely hammered them in that first half. And then the second half, got more into it, made a few changes, and it suddenly was a completely different game. And of course, Spurs didn't get the win out of it in the end. So Leicester know that this is not beyond them yet.
And they have scored as well as conceded in every game they've played so far in the Premier League. The last time they did that was when they did it in their opening 9 games of a title-winning season back in 15-16 from the start of a campaign. So that's what's happened so far for Leicester City. Steve Cooper, who was jeered by a section of the support at Walsall in midweek in that League Cup tie that they triumphed on a penalty shootout. The ball is given away by Vardy, but he was actually coming back from an offside position, so it's an Arsenal free kick anyway, as we enter the last 60 seconds here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Arsenal leading by a goal to nil, and I know where Mark Chapman will be starting his sweep around the grounds. I'm sure it's bound to be Stamford Bridge after that action-packed first half. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, Brentford 1, West Ham 0, Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1, and still no goals between Nottingham Forest and Fulham.
I just nudged you there because the cameras that we've got here at the stadium went on to Bob Wilson sitting in the stand. He hasn't aged a day. Last time I saw him, that was 30 years ago. Wow, he looks great.
He does look good. Actually bumped into him after the opening day of the season when Arsenal played Wolves and had a chat with him. He's a true gent and attends every Arsenal game, does Bob Wilson, and looking terrific too, as here is Timber out to Havertz, right hand side level of the area. Saka looking for another assist. He's already contributed 5 assists this season, which is a Premier League high. Infield to Partey. 2 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Arsenal still leading by a goal to nil. Mikel Arteta watching on, arms folded, all in black, as Saliba, diagonal ball spread out towards Martinelli, the goal scorer, far side. Martinelli held up by Justin, passes the ball to Calafiore, little layoff by Rice. Calafiore goes down in the area. Leicester aren't happy. They feel that he made the most of that inside the penalty area. Leicester have lost the ball again, to the annoyance of Steve Cooper. Calafiore is only back to his feet now, hobbling back into a position, and the ball is passed towards Trossard. Martinelli's low cross. Calafiore did the dummy, and then Trossard side puts it right-footed, kisses the inside of the right-hand post, and there is the second goal just before half-time. Arsenal 2, Leicester 0.
And a lot of similarities to the first goal, except it was on the other side of the field. Get towards that by then zip it in and make sure that not every player ran towards the goal. Someone has to peel out a little bit. On this occasion, the intelligence of Trossard doesn't take a touch on it. Referee goes over to Calafiore and says, look, it might have been a penalty kick, I'll let play go on there, I would have had a look at it, VAR would have had a look at it. However, he let it play on, and I'm sure he's delighted he did now, because it's a goal, it's 2-0, and now it's a long, long way back for Leicester, and you almost think you can relax if you're an Arsenal fan.
Harry Winks, the former Tottenham player, having a row with Mads Hermansen after that goal as well. And just when Steve Cooper thought we've been second best, we've had to try and contain Arsenal, but at least maybe we're going to go in at half-time only a goal down, there's that crucial second that Arsenal wanted.
Yeah, they're going to have a look at a number of things. I can't tell you what they're looking at just now. The referee has stopped it, so there is something they're concerned about, a possible offside. So VAR looking closely at it. I have to say, I didn't spot what that obviously was, so I may have been quite far back.
I'm thinking whether that's Calafiore, who was obviously down through injury, but I'm not sure that Calafiore touched the ball.
No, he didn't. He absolutely did not. So he came off from an offside position, but he's just jumped over the ball and it had no effect on the play.
And the goal stands, and it's confirmed as Dundee have got a goal back. Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2 in the Scottish Premiership. But we're deep into stoppage time here, and Arsenal are leading by 2-0. Let's get an update in the racing. John Hunt at Newmarket.
Remember last week, Ian, that trainer Carl Burke had the first, second and third home in the Air Gold Cup, an amazing achievement. Well, he's today won the big handicap at Newmarket as well, with top weight Liberty Lane streaking clear to beat James McHenry, Toy Me Son and Benetton back in fourth place.
Thank you, John. James McHenry would have been a good price, I would have thought, in the Cambridgeshire. I'm sure there'll be reaction to the day's racing at Newmarket in Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5 o'clock. All the results, all the reaction, as much live reaction as we can give you before our next commentary at Molineux. Wolves against Liverpool, where Arsenal, 2 more goals would take them top. As it is, they're going level on points with Manchester City after Manchester City's 1-1 draw at Newcastle. They've got another corner here as well in stoppage time. We only had a minimum of 2. We're now into the 4th minute of added on time, as corner kick far side the left by Rice, swung over. Calafiore was in the air. The referee will blow his whistle. So Martinelli has scored 1, he's got the assist for the other, and Arsenal have dominated, deservedly 2-0 up.
Absolutely, 2-0 up. Martinelli could have actually had a hat-trick. Trossard has another chance as well. 2 possible headed goals could have been scored for that man, Havertz as well. It's 2-0, and Arsenal, they deserve to be at least 2-0, maybe more than that, and it is one of those ones already. You have no idea what Steve Cooper does. Do you keep on going for it? Do you go and change it and try and chase it and lose badly? Tough one for the Leicester manager.
Certainly is, but no problems for Arsenal. Half-time then in the sunshine. Arsenal 2, Leicester City 0.
Let's go to the Scottish Premiership and news of that goal that Dundee have pulled back against Aberdeen. Ailey.
It came from the penalty spot. Simon Murray winning the penalty, then placing it on the spot and coolly dispatching it past Dimitar Mitov to get Dundee back into this game. It is Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2.
Let's go round the half-times in the Premier League. They're still playing at Stamford Bridge, so we're actually going to start at the City Ground. Pat Murphy.
This has the elements possibly of being a grade A stinker. It's 0-0 at half-time. Smith Rowe, shot blocked for Fulham. Iwori's low cross, no Fulham player near. Awani overhead flick, cleared, and then he's ruled offside as Wood turned the ball against the Fulham post. And that is all I can bring to you, other than the fact it is Southall-esque. Forest 0, Fulham 0.
And the game that John Southall is at is most definitely not Southall-esque. We'll go there shortly. Let's go to John Bennett first of all. Palace lead at Goodison.
Yes, Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1. Goodison Park was in good spirits after this week's takeover news, so what they didn't need was to concede an early goal. That's exactly what happened. Mark Gahey forcing the ball over the line after a Max Lacroix header. That's the first time Palace have been in the lead this season, and they've been the better side, and Ketia and Munoz have come close. Everton only half chances, really, the best two to Calvert-Lewin. Boos from the Everton fans at half-time. Everton 0, Crystal Palace 1.
And if you've been listening all afternoon, Brentford have done it again. Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, West Ham 0. Brian Mbuemo's hooked finish after 36 seconds. The difference almost unbelievably. It's the third game running they've scored inside a minute. A Premier League record. Boos from the West Ham fans at the break. Their side have had the greater threat, though, without causing too much threat to Flecken in the Brentford goal. Low drives from Kudus and Antonio, the closest to a leveller. Brentford on course for their third home win in 3. They lead West Ham at the break by 1-0.
Yeah, it's a great finish from him, and it is not far off exactly or very similar to the goal that they scored last week at Tottenham. That day the volley went in the top left-hand corner. Today it's gone in the top right-hand corner. Right, let's go to Stamford Bridge. I'm on bended knee. My sincerest apologies, John Southall. I hope you can forgive me.
Well, I think the term a Southall is now defunct. I think we can officially say that at 50 minutes in the first half. It has been remarkable, and what a performance from Cole Palmer. 4 goals in the opening 41 minutes of the game. Honestly, this game could be 7-6. Here come Chelsea again now. We're in the dying embers of the first 45 minutes, for 8 minutes of added time. Sancho just tries to go around Believer. Was that a handball? The referee says no, and it'll be cleared away, but we are still playing. Come back to me in a minute and we'll try and decipher this first half. Remarkable.
The only thing that you would say as well, just on Cole Palmer, is that he's got 4. He really ought to have 5.
He had a disallowed one as well.
Oh, so yeah, he had a disallowed one, and he was also through, wasn't he? And he hit the post.
That's right. He clipped it over the goalkeeper and hit the right-hand post. And we also have to say there's been some awful defending. There's been plenty of mistakes in the game which have led to goals. But wow, unbelievable entertainment.
Okay, earlier in the Premier League finished Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1. Gvardiol for City in the first half. Anthony Gordon from the penalty spot for Newcastle in the second half. The early games in the Championship went as follows: Blackburn 2, QPR 0. QPR played the second half with 10. Derby 2, Norwich 3. It was a hat-trick for Bojo Sainz, 7th of the season for him. And Sheffield Wednesday got a late winner to beat West Brom 3-2. So West Brom's defeat means Sunderland could go top of the table this afternoon. But Aaron Paul?
Not going to plan, Mark. Watford 0, Watford 1, Sunderland 0. Sorry, a topsy-turvy first half with plenty of action either end. But crucially, it is Watford who have the advantage. Festi Eberseli hooking a left-footed volley towards goal from a Yasser Larouci cross for his first Watford goal. Sunderland then dominated, looking for an equaliser. Wilson Isidore with their best chance, dragging a shot just wide. Chris Rigg and Joe Bellingham have both fired wide as well, with Watford satisfied to just sit and break on the counter. But crucially, it is the home side who lead here by 1-0.
Other Championship half-times to come. Back to John.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a half like it. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. Incredible. This is the tale of the half. The opening goal, which seems hours ago, a shambolic affair, the Brighton goal. Caicedo, ex-Brighton, played it back to Colwell, ex-Brighton. His clearance ricocheted up. Rutter rose above Cucurella, ex-Brighton. Sanchez, ex-Brighton, the goalkeeper, rushed off his line, didn't get there, and Rutter scored it. The equaliser, Webster mistake. Jackson to Palmer swept it in. Disallowed goals then from Palmer and Sanchez. Penalty, Belieber Belieber brought down Sancho. Palmer scored it, of course he did. Hat-trick completed in the 31st minute. Estepinin brought down Madueke, probably should have got a red, got a yellow. Palmer 25 yards out, curled the free kick into the top right-hand corner. Sanchez then gave the ball away to Belieber. He made it 3-2. Sanchez denied Belieber. Welbeck put one over. Madueke shot wide, and then Palmer in right just before half-time on the left of the area scored his 4th goal in 41 minutes, and he becomes the first player in Premier League history to score 4 goals before half-time. I'm going for a lie down. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
I was going to say, are you done? Let's go to Ellen Road, back in the Championship. Leeds Coventry, Charlie Slater.
This is somewhat more straightforward. Leeds 1, Coventry 0. Really well-worked goal after a quarter of an hour. The perfect low cross from Firpo, met by an excellent first-time finish from Nonso, who smashed it into the roof of the net from the edge of the box. Could have been more, but not all good news for Leeds, with captain Ethan Ampadu hobbling off, which looked like it might have been a serious knee injury. Time will tell. Leeds 1, Coventry 0.
Goalless at Oxford, Molly Stevens.
Yeah, Oxford 0, Burnley 0. Pretty scrappy game so far this, Mark. No shots on target here. Burnley with majority of possession. Their best chance came when Luca Kolyosho took a solo run down the right-hand side. He crossed left into the face of goal for Lyle Foster, who skied the ball over goal rather than tapping it in. I'd be surprised if there aren't any changes in the second half. After all, if things stay as they are between Watford and Sunderland, Burnley know they can go top with a win today. Goalless at half-time.
Also goalless at Freston Park, Laura Kenyon.
Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 0. Chris Wilder's side protecting an unbeaten start to the league season, but haven't taken their chances. Gustavo Harmer with a headed effort straight at the keeper for newly promoted Portsmouth, chasing a first win after a tough old start ravaged with injuries. A big chance right at the end of the first half. Marlon Pack's free kick forcing a fingertip save. The sun shining on the south coast, but still it's Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Hull lead Cardiff by 2-1. Callum Robertson actually put managerless and bottom of the table Cardiff ahead there, but 2 goals from Mohamed Baloumi have given Hull the lead at the break. Middlesbrough lead Stoke by 1-0. Ben Doak, who's on loan from Liverpool, got that goal. Millwall are 2-0 up on Preston. George Honeyman got the first, and Roman Essa, with the third of the season, has given them a 2-0 lead. In League One earlier, Crawley 0, Bolton 2 and Reading 2, Huddersfield 1. At half-time, Birmingham 1, Peterborough 2, so they're unbeaten in League One this season, are Birmingham, but they are behind at the break. Blackpool lead Burton by 1-0, continuing, if it stays, Steve Bruce's 100% record since taking over there. Scott Sinclair has got the Bristol Rovers goal as they lead Wycombe by 1-0. Cambridge, bottom of the table, yet to win in any competition this season, are behind at the break. Lincoln lead there by 1-0. Goals between Leyton Orient and Wrexham, and Northampton and Mansfield. Shrewsbury lead Rotherham by 1-0. They've lost 6 of their last 7, have Paul Hurst's side, but they lead at the break. And goalless between Stevenage and Charlton, and also between Wigan and Exeter. Let's go to St Andrews, get details of Peterborough's lead at half-time from Nestor McGregor.
Yeah, Birmingham City 1, Peterborough United 2. All 22 players earning their energy drinks at half-time. This game's been a cracker. Peterborough might be a goal up, Mark, but here's something you don't see often. At half-time, Darren Ferguson, furious, clearly feels that lead is in jeopardy. Birmingham trying to protect an unbeaten record this season. Birmingham 1, Peterborough United 2.
Harrogate 2, Bradford 1 and Walsall 4. Colchester 0 was how the two 12:30 games in League 2 finished, and that win for Walsall took them to the top of the table ahead of Gillingham and Barrow, who are meeting this afternoon at Priestfield, watched by Lawrence Herdman.
And Gillingham have the edge. Gillingham 1, Barrow 0, deservedly in front. The defining goal from Jaden Clark, a calm finish after an exquisite Mackenzie through ball. Twice George Lapsley close to doubling that lead. Barrow, they're largely relying on counter-attacks, including Jed Garner springing the offside trap late in the half and shooting into the side netting. Their only real chance. Gillingham 1, Barrow 0.
Elsewhere in League 2, Scott Lindsay took over at MK Dons during the week, leaving League 1 Crawley to do so, and he saw his side take the lead at Bromley, but Michael Cheek, with his 5th of the season, has equalised for the home side, so they're level at 1-1. Carlisle lead Grimsby by 2-1. It's Cheltenham 0, Fleetwood 1. Doncaster, who've won all 3 of their home games in the league this season, trail at the break to Chesterfield by 1-0. Morecambe, who are bottom of League 2, lead Notts County by 1-0. Newport, who've lost their last 3, lead Crewe by 1-0. And it's goalless between Port Vale and Swindon. And just to tidy everything up in England, in the National League, the leaders Barnet being held at home by AFC Fylde at the moment. That's goalless. Boston 1, Maidenhead 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Solihull Moors 0. Wealdstone are a goal up at Halifax. Forest Green Rovers 0, Hartlepool 0. Rochdale lead Braintree by 1-0. Southend 1, Gateshead 1. Goalless between Tamworth and Altrincham. Woking 0, Sutton 2. Yeovil 0, Aldershot 1. And York 0, Eastleigh 0. Into the Scottish Premiership, and we're at Dens Park this afternoon. Ailey Barber.
I fancied goals in this one, and Aberdeen's 4,000 travelling fans were celebrating after just 15 minutes when Toby Keskinen found Kevin Nisbet with a perfectly weighted ball. Nisbet's first time finish, his 3rd goal since returning north off the border. Keskinen then doubled their lead, scampering the length of Dundee's half. He had Nisbet on hand, but he chose to go himself and made no mistake. Dundee, they've clawed their way back into things though, and when Simon Murray was bundled over, the referee pointed to the spot, up stepped Murray to convert, and Dundee are back in it. At the break, it's Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2.
Hearts' miserable start to the season continues. They trail Ross County by 1-0 at half-time. It's Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1 and Motherwell 2, St Mirren 1. Celtic go to St Johnstone at 5:45. In the Championship, Ayr 0, Morton 0, Dunfermline 0, Queen's Park 1. Goalless between Hamilton and Partick. Livingston 1, Airdrie 1. And it's Wraith 1, Falkirk 0. That would be the first points that Falkirk have dropped this season in the Championship. In League 1, Inverness 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Kelty Hearts 2, Annan 0, Montrose 1, Alloa 1, Queen of the South 1, Dumbarton 0. Cove Rangers and Arbroath get underway at 5:30. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Forfar 0, Elgin 0, Edinburgh City 1, Peterhead a goal up on Clyde. Goalless between Spartans and East Fife. And Stranraer 0, Stirling 1. 2 games at half-time in the Gallagher Premiership. Harlequins lead Newcastle 21-7. It's a lot tighter between Saracens and Sale. Chris Jones.
Saracens 12, Sale 13. Sale with the game's only try. Gus Waugh under the post. Sarri's good spell. They led, but right on the stroke of half-time. Rob Dupree kicking a penalty. No George Ford for Sale. He limped off early, but they are ahead of the break, the Sharks. Saracens 12, Sale 13.
In the United Rugby Championship earlier, Lions 35, Ulster 22 and Bulls 22, Edinburgh 16. In the second half between Zebra and Munster lead by 28 points to 20. 2 minutes past 4. The latest news is with Jill Mackenzie.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hezbollah has confirmed that its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, has been killed in an Israeli airstrike. He'd led the Iranian-backed group for 3 decades. Israel said he died in a massive attack on Hezbollah's headquarters in Beirut on Friday. Iran says a senior commander in its Revolutionary Guards Corps was also killed in the attack. Responding to Nasrallah's death, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, reiterated his support for Hezbollah. The UK government's repeated its plea for calm in the Middle East. In Beirut, thick smoke is rising from buildings as Israel continues strikes on the Lebanese capital. Thousands of people have fled their homes. The UN says more than 50,000 have crossed into Syria. Meanwhile, Hezbollah is still firing rockets into northern Israel. There's more in this story on the BBC website and the BBC News live audio stream on BBC Sounds. And in other news, at least 59 people have been killed after torrential rain caused widespread flooding and landslides in Nepal. Many people are still missing.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back to the Emirates after John Hunt rounds up the day's racing for us.
Yeah, there were 2 major Group 1 races at Newmarket today. Both won ever so impressively, Mark. Lake Victoria won the Cheveley Park Stakes for the fillies, and she's now hot favourite for next year's 1,000 guineas. She stayed the 3/4 mile trip today very strongly to win by 3 lengths. And Shadow of Light was more impressive than that, even winning by 4 lengths in the Middle Park Stakes, although it appears likely that next year he will stay at sprint distances.
Thank you very much, John. So in the Premier League so far today finished, Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1. Then at the break in the 3 o'clock games, Brentford a goal up on West Ham, Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, Everton 0, Palace 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 0, and it has been incredibly comfortable for Arsenal at home to Leicester. They're 2-0 up. Here's the second half with Pat and Ian.
It has been incredibly comfortable. They've been cruising.
They have been. I'm slightly surprised that is there any changes? I don't think there are any changes from Leicester. Didn't expect any from Arsenal, although they will, if they get another goal, to rest some players. But I'd be really surprised if Leicester play exactly the same way in the second half, because if they do, they ain't going to win, they ain't going to create any chances, and Jamie Vardy's going to get more and more frustrated as the game goes on, because they're just not producing anything in the final third. Nothing at all.
Well, neither side has made a change, so I can run through the two teams for you as we are back underway here at the Emirates, with Arsenal leading by 2-0. But in fact, before I do give you the two teams, there's been a goal at Goodison. John Bennett.
A wonder goal, what a response by Everton at the start of this second half. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. It's Dwight McNeil, 30 yards out, left-footed, flew into the net. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Northampton Town 0, Mansfield 1 is the latest score in League One. Leicester City have been awarded a free kick. Still can't give you the teams. We're going elsewhere. Another goal at Vicarage Road. Aaron Paul.
Equaliser for Sunderland. Watford 1, Sunderland 1. Wilson Isidore just arriving late at the near post after a nice little Patrick Roberts crossing from the right hand side. Caught the goalkeeper wrong-footed. Sunderland bat level. Watford 1, Sunderland 1.
Raya, who's been a mere spectator here today, is in goal for Arsenal. Timber, Gabriel, Saliba and Calafiore. Havertz, Partey and Rice. Saka, Trossard and Martinelli. I'll give you the Leicester side after this free kick that Boanote takes, and the header actually goes past David Raya, and Leicester City, through James Justin, a header about 12 yards out of nothing, have just got a goal to reduce the arrears. Arsenal 2, Leicester 1. Who expected that?
Well, one of the things I was talking about all the way through the first half was Jamie Vardy 1-on-1 against defenders. That's a dangerous thing to do. They left him 1-on-1 there. He ran wide and actually got tripped. I think he threw his foot out to get the trip, but he got tripped. That led to the free kick. And if you get free kicks in those sort of areas, it is a danger. Arsenal just didn't defend it well enough. Justin gets in at the near post and heads it. So what looked like an absolute cruise, suddenly we're back to not exactly square one, but the jeopardy's back on again, and we didn't quite see that coming.
That's their first attack on goal, isn't it?
I would say that's the first real sensible attempt at goal. You've got to say well done, Jamie Vardy, because saying to the Leicester players, you've got to go and give them something to chase, run after. They finally done that. He wasn't going to get away from Saliba, so what he did is he trailed his leg out, took the hit. He was going wide anyway, got the free kick, and because he got that free kick, they eventually got the goal. So suddenly, you know, I mean, it was an interesting enough match, but only in terms of how many Arsenal are going to win by. Well, it's slightly different now.
Maintains their record of scoring and conceding now in each of their 6 Premier League games this season. Blackpool have got a second goal. Blackpool 2, Burton 0. Latest at Bloomfield Road in League One. So the Leicester City side, now that they've reduced the arrears, Hermansen in goal, Justin the goal scorer, Fass and O'Collier the 2 central defenders, Christensen at left back, and Didi Winks, Skip, Mabadidi, Boanote and Jamie Vardy. And as you quite rightly said, Pat, you know, when they played Tottenham, the other side, of course, in North London on the opening day, they had been passed off the park and they should have been beaten out of sight, and yet they got themselves level on that occasion and actually had chances to win it. Here is Martinelli, meanwhile, on the attack for Arsenal. Interception. Leicester might just start to grow in confidence.
Yeah, and you've got to see there's every opportunity that they've spotted the problem with Vardy. And they told him early on in the second half, get it forward. They did that and it's had an effect.
Penalty at Nottingham Forest, Pat Murphy.
It's to Fulham. It's going to be taken by Raul Jimenez. This after Murillo was adjudged via VAR to have knocked Pereira off the ball to a deep cross. And Marco Silva was furious when that happened. And the appeal for the penalty went to VAR and Fulham have won the debate. So it's 0-0. And Pereira, he's taking a run of about 15 yards. By the way, Murillo was booked for the foul. Here comes Jimenez, and he's there to the left of the keeper, and he runs to the Fulham fans. Forest unimpressed, but Fulham go up, 1 up due to a penalty from Jimenez.
So So every game in the Premier League has had a goal. Yellow cards are plenty. We've had Calafiori going in the book for Arsenal and joining Saliba, and now here Sam Burrett has just produced another yellow card, and that will be to Oliver Skip. So the former Tottenham man joins Ndidi, Vardy and his manager in the book. I told you that this referee averages 6 yellow cards a game. Not shy. Cheltenham Town 0, Fleetwood Town 2 is the latest score in League 2.
It's going a long way. If you remember the game that Chelsea were down at Bournemouth earlier in the season, which for me stands out as one of the most extraordinary refereeing displays I've ever seen. It wasn't a dirty game, but it was a record, wasn't it?
It was.
Was it 14, something like that?
Yeah, 14,
yellow cards, and there was hardly a bad foul.
Yeah. Arsenal then still in the sunshine, leading, but their advantage has been halved as the ball is swung out to this near side, the left, for Declan Rice on the left, playing from right to left as we look, left corner of the area in their red and white tops and white shorts. Rice passes the ball to Partey, curling ball in, headed up in the air by O'Colly. It'll actually fall to Trossard. He's going to let it run out of play for a corner kick over on that far side, the right. Goal at Brentford, Henry Moran.
Brentford 1, West Ham 1. Thomas Souček's second of the season owes much to the wonderful feat of Gerard Bowen to create the opportunity. Souček eventually low finish beyond Flecken. West Ham with the equaliser. Brentford 1, West Ham 1.
Doncaster Rovers are down to 10 men. Molyneux has been sent off. Bring you the latest scores in League 2 in a moment, as a corner kick we'll just watch over on that far side. Arsenal leading by 2-1. Swung over, crowded area, headed out only as far as Martinelli on this left-hand side. Martinelli swings back over the cross, and it's just taken away out of Gabriel's path by O'Colly.
That's actually really good defending there by O'Colly, because Gabriel was just about to put his head on it. But they've had a lot of corner kicks, haven't they, Arsenal? I mean, yeah, time after time they're getting good zipped-in balls there. Leicester so far have managed to deal with them all. But if they keep on giving away corner kicks at this rate, we know eventually Arsenal will make something out of it.
Saka then waits to take the cross again over on that right-hand side. 2-1 to Arsenal. Leicester City have got everybody back, all in royal blue. Saka waits, stuttering run-up. Swings it over now. Gabriel again, brilliant save by Hermans on the goal line, and then again from Calafiori, but he spilt it, and then it falls to Timber, and about 10 yards out left-footed, couldn't keep it down. There's been another goal at Goodison, John Bennett.
They've turned it around. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1. What a season Dwight McNeil is having. He scored again, crossed to the back post, he controlled it and fired it underneath the goalkeeper. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
What a turnaround.
Yeah, incredible, considering, you know, a lot of games this season Everton have been ahead, we know that. Many games playing very, very well, and then the worst thing they actually can do, it would appear, is go ahead too early in a game, and when they've done that they've just fallen apart. Well, they've got a long way to go to the end of the game now, but at least they've got a lead.
Hull City 3, Cardiff City 1, Birmingham City 2, Peterborough United 2. So Birmingham City, who were 2-0 down, have brought it back level at St Andrews in League 1. We'll go to Stamford Bridge, John Southall.
Well, this second half has started as the first finish. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. Nicholas Jackson on the left of the area, denied by Verbruggen. Jackson's just had one cleared off the line, and Matoma went down for a penalty for a challenge from Gusto not given. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
Saka away right-hand side. Arsenal leading by 2-1. Enters the penalty area down towards the byline. Hermansen down with his knees. Saves at his near post.
Again, Saka started off very, very well, as have Arsenal since they've dropped that goal there. Much, much better. And we just watching Vardy there. The ball's played up to him. 3 Arsenal players around him, but he's held the ball up well. Arsenal actually look very, very good, but they can't quite shake Leicester off at the moment.
No, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it? Leeds United Coventry, another goal at Ellen Road. Charlie Slater.
It's gone to Leeds, 2-0. Jayden Bogle, his first goal for Leeds United. Lovely build-up down the right, 1-2 from Bogle to Ramazani, and then a smart finish from Bogle. Leeds 2, Coventry 0.
And let's get news of that goal at St Andrews. Nestor McGregor.
as an own goal, but it was created by second half substitute Keshi Anderson. Played a low cross into the box. £10 million man Jay Stansfield swiveled, shot, struck the defender, wrong-footed the keeper. Birmingham City 2, Peterborough United 2.
Indeed, he goes to ground inside the penalty area far too easily. He was looking for a penalty.
Yeah, but a little bit better. They were getting nothing in the first half, so they've not changed the personnel, but certainly the way their outlook is to the second half is a bit better from Leicester in terms of attacking at the moment. But it's made the game wider, it's made the game longer, it's created space, and that's a dangerous thing when you play against Arsenal, because good players make use of space.
Havertz, edge of the area, left-footed, couldn't keep it down off target. Goal kick. Doncaster down to 10 men, trailing still at home to Chesterfield by a 0-0. Motherwell are also down to 10 men because Dan Casey has been sent off. Motherwell, who lead St Mirren by 2-1 at Fir Park. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service, and also on BBC Sounds.
It does not look like a game that's going to end up 2-1. It could do, but with about half an hour to go, you just think, wow. There's two teams attacking now. It was only one in the first half. It's a much longer game. There's a lot of players playing well. Havertz has had 3 really good opportunities. Mikel Arteta's furious that the game is slowed down there.
This is going to be a recurring theme, because Arsenal obviously they've actually had 6 cards this season for either time wasting or not retreating, and it all comes back to consistency as Timber played in on that far side, the right, now looks to link up with Saka, plays in Saka shot on the run into the side netting. Goal kick. Arsenal lead 2-1, 56 minutes play.
Again, just mention the fact it's such a long game, there's so much space to run into, and players like Saka, they make good use of that. Good to see Saka there. Look, he gets the ball on his right foot and has a shot with his right foot. He doesn't usually do that, or he hasn't done in the past. He does it much more often now, and it has made him a far better player. On this occasion, couldn't quite get it on target though.
Had you got to position when the Newcastle United had got the equaliser at St James's Park, and whilst we were still hardly many spectators were actually in situ at that point, but you could hear them on the concourses celebrating the Newcastle equaliser as Manchester City, because already so early on in the season it's got to that stage, hasn't it, between that rivalry between City and Arsenal. Drop points because of the high standards that City have set for so long. When they drop points, it's significant.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the end of each season, how many points have actually been dropped over the years by City, getting towards 100 points each season. They don't give you many opportunities.
And Arsenal know all about that, as after pushing them so close last season and hoping to go one stage better this for Mikel Arteta as they win the ball midway through the Leicester half. Trossard, forward ball, Saka neatly out of his feet, Saka turns, Saka tries to play it towards Havertz, and then it falls to Trossard on the stretch, and it comes off the outside of the right hand post and behind for a goal kick. Arsenal lead 2-1.
You know what I mean with the fact that this does not look like a game that's going to finish 2-1. This looks like a game that's going to get more goals. Chances all over the place. That's another one, hits the post. Before that, a little while, just after Leicester scored to get it 2-1, there was a brilliant chance, but Gabriel brilliantly saved on the line by Hermansen. This is a very entertaining game. The second most entertaining game possibly in the Premier League today.
Because the first is being watched by John Southall.
Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. The fifth is coming. Cole Palmer on the edge of the area, brought it down brilliantly on the volley over the top. Then Palmer to Madueke on the right, cleared just short of the line. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
Match the day tonight, 10:30, BBC One. And I'm sure we'll get you some live reaction into Sports Report before that here on the BBC at 5 with Mark Chapman. It felt routine at the start of the second half.
But it can happen in the Premier League though, can't it? Sometimes you think it goes a certain way, but it just needs the manager to adapt it a little bit. It just needs one little mistake, a goal, and the psychology of a game of football can change in a millisecond. By the end of the half, when Leicester were down 1-0, they were just trying to see it out and thinking, right, we'll readapt in the second half. Then it went to 2-0 and thought, oh well, that's it, all over. But you're right, that goal, that start of the second half, and the fact that Leicester are throwing a few more players forward now, it gives you belief if you're a player. Even if you're a Leicester player with limited amount of the ball, it gives you some belief that you can do it.
Well, that goal from Justin after 47 minutes has certainly given Leicester City a little bit of hope. Steve Cooper yesterday was saying that it was the toughest test yet. They are an incredible team. Never ever plain sailing for any promoted side to come into the top flight. And Leicester City only trailing by 1 as Calafiori gallops his way forward like an Italian stallion on this near side, the left, and then back with Rice, and then with Partey. As Arsenal still probing. Chesterfield have got a second against the 10 men of Doncaster. Doncaster Rovers 0, Chesterfield 2 in League 2. Here is Trossard. Trossard, square, Partey, Timber. The Arsenal supporters generating the noise inside the Emirates on this fine day. Saka, far side. Leicester still working hard. Mavadidi and Christensen have doubled up on Saka. Christensen gets the block in. Goes out towards Timber. Short and square, infield, finds Partey, able to stand on the ball. Partey deliberates and then passes the ball to Gabriel midway through the Leicester City half. 2-1 to the home team, scooped forward by Trossard, looking for the run of Rice. Cleared by Fass, hooked clear by Harry Winks, who made just over 200 appearances for his boyhood club, Tottenham Hotspur. As here is Timber, who's going to shoot from distance then, passes the ball right-hand side towards Saka. Gives it straight towards Winks, forward ball to Boanotti, on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion, runs towards the halfway line, slows down, and in those all royal blue shirts and shorts, Leicester City advance the pitch over the halfway line.
They look a better team in the second half because, managers let them off at least slightly. Boanotti's looking good just now.
Boanotti with a shot, flashes it wide. He went one way and went the other, and his left-footed shot was off target. Kilmarnock 2, Dundee United 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and in that top-of-the-table clash as Stephen Clements returns to face his former side, another goal, Lawrence Herdman.
It's Gillingham 2 now, Barrow 0, the goal totally against the run of the play. Robbie McKenzie ghosting in at the far post to convert. Jack Nolan's corner on the right side. Gillingham 2, Barrow 0.
Walsall had gone top after a 4-0 victory against Colchester earlier. Gillingham will replace them if that turns out to be what would be a 4th home win in League 2. Let's get the team news from Molineux. John Murray.
Well, illness has been added to the injury of Mosquera for Wolves, so there is no Craig Dawson either today for them. However, Totti Gomez returns from injury, and Santiago Bueno also comes into the Wolves defence. There are 2 changes for Liverpool as well. Alisson's back in goal. Jota starts against his former club, so Kelleher on the bench. Núñez actually not in the 20.
Thank you, John. Andy Reid will be joining John for commentary. Boanotti running at the heart of the Arsenal defence. Out it goes to Mavadidi, left-hand side of the penalty area, back to Boanotti. Boanotti with a shot, left-footed, saved by Raya.
You know what? Arsenal tried really hard to do a press high up the field there, but it was hopeless. And it left a big gap there. And just as I said, this game actually has gone slightly mad. This has almost gone slightly Tottenham-esque. It's so open, it's so wide. They're having a little bit of a go now, Leicester. Arsenal look a little bit jaded, a little bit tired in the second half, and very much in comparison to the first half, and maybe unsurprisingly so. They've had a lot of games there again in midweek as well. But you can look at those Leicester players and you can see the belief beginning to grow.
Port Vale 1, Swindon Town 0 is the latest score in League 2. Down the line it goes, left-hand side, and Ndidi delivers the cross for Leicester City. Justin! What a goal! Justin at a double, and Leicester City, against all the odds, have fought back to 2-2. He caught it so sweetly, right-footed, in off the left-hand post, and Arsenal have been pegged back. What a twist! 2-2.
Well, I just said seconds ago, the belief is growing. The manager said to him, go and have a go in this second half, go forward. It's opened up the game. Arsenal look a little bit tired. Doesn't matter how tired you are, you don't stop them. Highlights reels for the rest of the season. You are going to see that goal time and again. We are right behind it. And many might remember a very famous goal by Pavard for the French in the final, and that is exactly the same as that. Volley, right foot, back post, 3 keepers in there don't save that in. What a goal that is.
What a strike by James Justin. He'd only scored 7 goals before today in his Leicester City career that has been ravaged by injury. He's now hit a brace of goals, and Leicester City have fought back 2-2. What a story. Let's get an update from Stamford Bridge. John Southall.
He's missed one in. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. Cole Palmer through on goal, 10 yards out, poked it wide. He's human. He could have scored 7 today. He's got 4. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
And maybe that might not be top billing on Match of the Day after all. Not suggesting that Gary Lineker would be biased in any way, but he might have an input that Leicester City are to see his side come from 2-0 down, and all of a sudden Arsenal now have got to show some resilience here, because they have got to come forward now and shrug off the disappointment of being pegged back. Here is Rice, left corner of the area. Martinelli, the first of 4 Premier League commentaries on 5 Live this weekend, and what a story. Here is Timber, because they were cruising at half-time. Nobody, I wonder what the odds would have been for Leicester City, whose supporters are celebrating widely on that far side, to see them at 2-2. You wouldn't have got many takers.
1-0, still saying, no, there's jeopardy here, But it went to 2-0 just moments before the half-time whistle was blown. You think, well, you cannot see anything here. But give them a juice from the start of the second half. They've changed it. What's interesting now, are Leicester going to be keep on being so brave, or are they going to sit back and allow Arsenal to get complete control of the game again? I think the most sensible thing is don't have a go, because there's a little bit of tiredness in that Arsenal side just now.
Stevenage 1, Charlton Athletic 0 is the latest score at Broadhall Way in League One. It's Leicester City voices that you can hear in the distance here at the Emirates, over on that far side. 2-2 as Arsenal in possession. Thomas Partey now in field to Trossard, out towards Saka. Timber takes over 30 yards out from goal. Gabriel wants the ball, Partey passes it back. Saka receives it, rolling to his feet, right hand side, down towards the byline, deflection, corner kick to Arsenal.
We were talking earlier on about Arsenal fans, in Manchester City, and those two looking at each other. Let's be fair about this just now. If Leicester hold on to this just now, Chelsea hold on to the win they've got just now, they're right back up there. Aston Villa will be looking interested, as will Liverpool just now. It really squeezes it up if Leicester can hold on.
This for many was seen as a home banker, and few would have argued when Arsenal were 2-0 up. A lead that has been wiped out. Corner kick though to Arsenal, far side the right. Saka to take it. Stuttering run up, delivers deep towards the far post. Havertz with a header. Calafiori keeps it alive, pulls it back. Trossard touches the deflection behind for another corner kick.
Well, they've had a whole raft of corner kicks so far, but that's the first one that's been on the money. Exactly where they put the free kicks, the corner kicks when they were playing against Manchester City last week. This time Saka puts it right in there. So dangerous. Leicester very lucky to get away with that one.
Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 1, a latest score at Rugby Park in the Scottish Premiership. 5 Live, the World Service, also available on the BBC Sounds app. With Arsenal now having another corner kick, this time on the left, the near side, as they play from right to left as we look. Rice to take it, it's an in-swinger, headed out by Ndidi. It's going to come towards Saka, running back towards the halfway line. David Raya, beaten twice on his 100th Premier League appearance of his career, hits it long back downfield, and Ndidi running back prevents it going out of play for a corner. Rugby Union update, Chris Jones.
Impressive stuff from Saracens at the start of this second half. A couple of penalties, a lovely try. Alex Lazowski's break, great pass out to Tobias Elliott who finished. Lazowski converted from the touchline. Saracens 25, Sale 13.
Shot fired in, takes a deflection. Havertz blocked by the goalkeeper Hermansen. Fell quite kindly for Havertz. Hermansen made the save. Did ever so well actually to make the save, to his credit.
You cannot believe that Arsenal have not scored in this second half for the opportunities they've had. Gabriel's header, brilliant save by Hermansen earlier on. This time, maybe even a better chance. It just falls perfectly for Kai Havertz. His first touch is brilliant. Just tees it up for himself, turns in the half volley, catches it perfectly, and from 3 yards, Hermansen's there again. I'll tell you what, this is turning out to be a cracker of a game of football.
Raheem Sterling is going to be coming on. Scored his first goal for the club in midweek, a tap-in against Bolton Wanderers in the League Cup. Here is Declan Rice, holds off skip, charges forward, threads it through. Havertz goes down through the challenge from O'Connell. They're looking for a penalty, but the referee is unmoved.
I'm not calling penalty there. I think that's shoulder to shoulder. I think it's just two strong players going for it. Havertz wasn't strong enough in the moment. We will look at it again very closely. No doubt VAR's looking at it, but that looked to me that if it was given as a penalty, it would have been a very harsh one.
Rotherham United have equalised at Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury 1, Rotherham United 1. That's in League One. There's been another goal at Birmingham, Nestor McGregor.
And it's Birmingham City 3, Peterborough United 2. The comeback is complete. Short corner routine. Captain Christian Bielik at the back post, although I think it might even go down as an own goal. The Blues fans won't care. Birmingham City joint top of the table at kick-off 3, Peterborough United 2.
Well, here it's the blue of Leicester City. Calafiore with the foul on Boanotte, who is going to get shown a yellow card because he gestured to the referee to show Calafiore another yellow card, and for that, Boanotte has gone in the book.
Oh dear,
Calafiore has already been booked.
Yeah. Oh dear, what a shame. Never mind. I have to say, I have no sympathy for any player who ever does that. I know culturally in certain countries it is a norm to do that. It is absolutely in the rules. It's very, very clear. Don't show the yellow card. The referee can do it himself.
At the minute, Mikel Arteta has got his left arm over the shoulder of Raheem Sterling, giving final instructions, because Arsenal need to get themselves back in front to put pressure on Manchester City. Remember, of course, they've already dropped points at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. They've dropped points actually in 2 of their last 3, when they'd previously dropped in only 2 of their first 20 Premier League games in 2024. Free kick that Winks will take for Leicester City. Headed away by Gabriel, picked up by Saka. Cambridge United 0, Lincoln City 2 is the latest score in League One. Dreadful start continues for Gary Monk and his team. Timber on the overlap far side. Sterling waits to come on. Midway through the Leicester half, away towards our left. Arsenal are attacking. Central position now with Thomas Partey. Rice is available. Calafiore has joined the attack on this near side, the left. Calafiore gets away from a sliding Boanotte. Plays it back from inside the penalty area to Rice, just outside the box. Rice tees at Partey, 28 yards out from goal, or there or thereabouts. Gabriel now can come forward. Calafiore waits level with the penalty area. Little nibble there from Boanotte. Leicester City have got every back. Vardy, 2-2. Arsenal have squandered a 2-0 lead, and we only have 18 minutes remaining. Martinelli gets the ball now and runs forward, then passes the ball back to Gabriel. Partey waits. Here is Martinelli once again, shown on the outside by Boanotte, and gets a corner off the legs of Boanotte.
Yeah, they're still tempted to bring Sterling on, but they're not going to leave it until after this corner kick. They're putting a little bit of pressure on Arsenal, but they cannot leave the back door open, because you know that Leicester are capable of doing that, just breaking at pace. And look at it just now, as we're watching just now, how many Arsenal defenders are there outside their own, the 18-yard box of the opposition? 0. Everyone apart from the goalkeeper is up.
In fact, David Raya is standing left of the centre circle on the halfway line. On the left-hand side, Declan Rice waits to take a corner kick. The left arm goes aloft. It'll be a right-footed corner. It's curling towards the far post, and the header from Gabriel. He was hoping it was going to get a corner kick under the jumping challenge of a Leicester defender. Instead it was a goal kick, taken quickly, hoisted high towards Jamie Vardy. He loves scoring against Arsenal. He's scored more goals against Arsenal than anybody else in his career. As still Raheem Sterling waits to come on, but meanwhile the ball hasn't gone out of play. Blackpool have got a third as Declan Rice with a curling effort, easily saved by Hermanson. Blackpool 3, Burton 0, and their form has been transformed under Steve Bruce in League One.
Yeah, phenomenal there. Sterling actually did have a chance to come on there, because that corner kick led to a goal kick, but they were just too slow to move. Arsenal. Sterling still, as you say, standing there. Big moment for Raheem Sterling. Oh, they've given it away, Leicester.
Declan Rice finds Trossard. Hermanson with a save, and he literally saves Leicester City's blushes. Arsenal was so close to going back in front.
Terrible attempt. I mean, we've seen some stinkers in this season so far, trying to play it out for the back. That might be right up there with the very, very worst of them. Goalkeeper plays it straight into no man's land. 3-on-1, big mistake there, but it makes up for it. 3 amazing saves so far from Hermanson.
He redeemed himself. Let's go to John Southall at Stamford Bridge.
It was coming. Chelsea 5, Brighton 2. The former Brighton player Mark Cucurella with a scissor kick 4 yards out. That will not go down well with the away fans. Chelsea 5, Brighton 2.
Middlesbrough 2, Stoke City 0 is the latest score in the Championship. So 5-2 to Chelsea, 2-2 here. Rice floats over the corner. Hermansen under pressure punches the ball away. Raheem Sterling has finally come onto the field and then passes the ball to Rice, kills it far post. Gabriel waits, still hasn't been dealt with, headed away by Christensen. Falls to Saka, thought about the shots, instead changed his mind, finds Gabriel, drills it in low, saved by Hermansen. Goal disallowed, John.
Yeah, disallowed. Cucurella offside. Cucurella is now making his way from the field, the former Brighton player. So remains Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
OK, Martinelli was the player who came off for Raheem Sterling. And now all of a sudden, the time wasting for Hermansen. The Arsenal supporters aren't happy. Weren't complaining when David Raya was at it last week, I hasten to add.
Oh, don't worry, all football fans are exactly the same in those situations, but there is a touch of irony there.
Newport 1, Crewe 1 is the latest score in League 2. At some stage I'll rattle through all the latest scores for you before we head towards 5 and Sports Report with Mark Chapman.
A big job to do, the Arsenal fans now, haven't they? You come into the last 15 minutes or so of the game just now, they need to push the players on. Do you know, to be fair, they've created absolute golden chances in this second half, but goalkeeper Hermansen's been dumped to absolutely every one of them.
It was a formality at half-time. It's far from it now. It's a fight for the next 15 minutes. Bristol Rovers 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1 is the latest score in League 1. As Arsenal put Christensen under pressure, helped out by O'Connor, the central defender. The Italian who they brought to the club, the Italian under-21 international, who does well, and Leicester City get a throw on the far side. Everton, Crystal Palace, John Bennett.
2-1 to Everton. They're on top second half, but living a bit dangerously. Munoz put the ball into the 6-yard box. Sara Mateta couldn't get there. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
They've thrown away leads in their last 4 games of Everton. They can ill afford to do so again. As the ball is played back by Wout Vaas, and Hermansen has to get rid of that quickly. In front of a sliding Havertz as Trossard whips up the crowd.
Yeah, he's right to do that. They do need this crowd. The crowd has been very good, certainly over the last couple of seasons. But right now, in this moment in time, with Manchester City slipping up today, it's imperative they try and set this ball in.
Here is Sterling now, left-hand side. Sterling enters the penalty area. Calafiori is available if he wants him. Just passes the ball behind him, didn't utilise him on the overlap, then they go back. Here is Gabriel 30 yards out from goal. Arsenal, red and white shirts, playing from right to left. Sterling now with a curling ball in. Wout Vaas heads the ball away, headed back by Timber. Winks though with a clearance up towards Vardy, holds it up to Mavididi, and Mavididi then just shows too much to Partey, but Leicester have got it back again, and Ndidi can now come forward, and all of a sudden there's a threat by Leicester City, out towards Winks. Christensen is committing himself on the overlap, ball played in towards Ndidi, whose cross-come shot just goes over the top and out for a goal kick. 2-2.
It just shows you how dangerous they are, and the willingness now. They weren't doing this in the first half. Christensen hammering down from left back there, overlapping, getting to the byline. The amount of blue shirts they got up there in that break. Well, I asked the question at 2-2, are they going to sit back and accept a point from this, Leicester? Well, not necessarily, because they're going to keep on playing in the break.
Judging by the finish that we could have here, I better sooner rather than later rattle through the latest scores in all the divisions, as Arsenal pick it up midway through their own half with Trossard. Aberdeen are going 3 points clear of Celtic at the top of the Scottish Premiership. They lead at Dundee by 2-1. Hearts 0, Ross County 1, Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 1, Motherwell 2, St Mirren 1. Motherwell down to 10 men. In fact, St Mirren now are also had a man sent off, Scott Tanser. St Johnstone Celtic is a 5:45 kick-off at McDermott Park. Arsenal midway through the Leicester half, 2-2. Sterling on this left-hand side. Ball played back to Calafiori. Here is Partey. Crowd were encouraging him to shoot. They work it to the right corner of the area. Havertz goes towards the byline. Last touch came off Christensen. Corner kick it will be to Arsenal.
Yet another corner kick. There have been so many of them in this game, but just a moment ago Sterling got the ball on the left-hand side, looking to him to take on his fullback. I mean, he's not fully accepted quite yet to Arsenal. If he could score the winner or make the winner in this game, it would go a long, long way to his acceptance at this ground.
11 minutes remaining of normal time. Saka waits, corner kick. Stuttering run up far side the right. Doesn't beat the first man. Headed out by Vardy. Played back by Trossard. The two results in League 2, Harrogate 2, Bradford City 1, Walsall 4, Colchester United 0. as Raya goes long out towards this near side. It'll be a Leicester throw. The latest scores in League 2: Bromley 1, MK Dons 1, Carlisle 2, Grimsby 1, Cheltenham 0, Fleetwood 2, Doncaster down to 10 men 0, Chesterfield 2. In the top of the table clash, Gillingham are going top. They lead Barrow 2-0, Morecambe 1, Notts County 0, Newport 2, Crewe 1. That will be the end of Crewe's winning run. They'd won the last 4. Port Vale 1, Swindon Town 0. There's a stoppage in play. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Hermanson's gone down in goal there, and he's got a few boos, but for goodness sake, did you watch Raya last week? He can't accept that. He's gone down there. It's given the Arsenal players and the Leicester players a chance to go and talk to their respective managers. I hope it doesn't kill the pace of this game, because it's been great in the second half.
Well, we have 10 minutes remaining. Let's go to Goodison Park. John Bennett.
2 Crystal Palace 1. Decore should have wrapped it up for Everton. Calvert-Lewin played him through. He completely messed up the one-on-one opportunity. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
And to Brentford, Henry Moran.
Still Brentford 1, West Ham 1. West Ham levelling early in the second half. Both sides pushing for victory. Good game this, entertaining. Antonio with a good opportunity. He's just been substituted. Brentford 1, West Ham 1.
You're not missing any of the action. There's still a stoppage to Hermanson. Pat Murphy at the City Ground.
Fulham still leading 1-0 due to that Jimenez penalty, and he nearly made it 2 when he beat the offside trap, poked wide of the keeper. Forest 0, Fulham 1. Forest chasing the game.
Penalty at Vicarage Road now, Aaron Paul.
Penalty to Watford. Watford 1, Sunderland 1. 7 minutes to go here. Quado Bar brought down by the byline by Sunderland captain Dan Neil, and it's Tom Dele-Bashiru who has the ball on the spot. Andy Davis blows his whistle. Dele-Bashiru with a couple of steps backwards, edges back, rocks on his right foot, stands over the ball, pants it on his line. Dele-Bashiru plants it into the bottom corner. Watford back ahead here. Watford 2, Sunderland 1.
Without a win in 4 before today, and they've come from behind, so leading Sunderland 2-1 at Vicarage Road. To the Premier League, John Southall at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea 4, Brighton 2. Nicholas Jackson's just pushed one wide of the right-hand post. That might be his last contribution, with Nkunku about to come on. He might fancy this. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
And into the Championship, Molly Stevens at Oxford United.
Oxford 0, Burnley 0, and let me tell you, it'll be Oxford the happier side if this stays goalless. They've had the ball in the Burnley half just 3 times in this second half, just 1 shot on target apiece in the entire game. Oxford 0, Burnley 0.
Players back underway here, so that was a lengthy stoppage that will be added on for Mads Hermansen in goal for Leicester City. 2-2, where Arsenal were leading by 2-0. Calafiore on this near side, 10 yards in from the left touchline, back to Gabriel, passes the ball to Raheem Sterling. James Justin with both the goals. Out it goes towards that far side. His cross cut out by Wout Faes. The 2 results in League 1, Crawley 0, Bolton 2, Reading 2, Huddersfield Town 1. The latest scores: Birmingham City 3, Peterborough United 2. They were 2-0 down, and Birmingham have come from behind to look to keep up their unbeaten record and actually take them top of Wrexham in League 1. Blackpool 3, Burton 0. The winning run continues for Steve Bruce. Bristol Rovers 1, Wycombe 1. Cambridge United 0, Lincoln 2. Cambridge bottom, still without a win all season. Leyton Orient Wrexham is goalless at the moment. Northampton Town 0, Mansfield Town 1. Shrewsbury 1, Rotherham 1. As Saka cuts inside, Saka still going central area. Was he fouled by Skip? The referee's played the advantage. Skip's on a yellow card as well, incidentally.
You know, Raheem Sterling's actually stopped there and waited, thinking, look, this is not a good position, we would rather take the free kick. And he's trying to referee the game there by stopping himself and saying, I should get it. But the referee, I think, said to him, no, I'll referee the game. That's gone out of play. I asked you to carry on, and you didn't. So Raheem Sterling furious. He's made a bit of a mistake there, because he was on the ball and let it go.
Just to finish those latest scores, Stevenage still lead Charlton by a goal to 0. Wigan Exeter is goalless. As a goal at Ellen Road, Charlie Slater.
79 on the clock, Leeds 3, Coventry 0, and it's Joel Piroux. Nonso this time with the cross. Piroux with the excellent finish from 8 yards out. 3 in his last 4 off the bench, and Leeds off to their most comfortable win of the season so far. 3-0.
Gabriel in towards Declan Rice, and that will be marshalled out safely by the right back, James Justin. Carlisle 2, Grimsby Town 2. Again, Justin is staying down. Leicester are doing exactly what Arsenal did to Manchester City last week.
And you know, if you're not a fan of either side, it actually makes you smile slightly, because every single dark art, every single trick, goalkeeper going down injured when there's basically, far be it for me to say, nothing wrong with them, that gives the team a chance to regroup and get a few more different tactical changes made. Right now they're going to make a tactical change as well, because the pace of Ayew is going to be brought in there from Buonanotte. That seems quite a positive change for me from Leicester City.
There's a change there for Leicester. So Ayew is on and Buonanotte is off. Arsenal are going to make a change. Chris Jones in the meantime in the rugby.
Yeah, all happening here too. Sale cut the gap to 4 with a rolling ball, but England fullback Elliot Daly going over in the corner to extend Saracens' lead. They have a penalty now which could maybe put the game to bed. Saracens 30, Sale 21, 10 to go.
Ethan Nwaneri has come on, scored his 2 goals against Bolton, his first for the club in midweek. He replaces Thomas Partey. Sure, maybe at half-time Mikel Arteta was thinking, I'll give it 15 minutes, they'll start making changes for the visit of Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday, a game you can listen to on BBC Radio 5 Live in the Champions League, but it hasn't been straightforward. In fact, it has been far from that. It's been a struggle for Arsenal, as they are still looking for that 3rd goal to secure the 3 points. Hermansen has denied them on 2 or 3 occasions. They've also hit the post. As Kilmarnock 3, Dundee United 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Here is Nwaneri with a shot, and Hermansen again, he's had it. He almost made an impact. The substitute, full stretch. Hermansen though kept out the Arsenal effort.
Nwaneri, he's so highly rated at Arsenal just now, and that's how highly rated they are. They need something, they need a goal, and they're going to him now.
Calafiore comes inside, still 2-2. 4.5 minutes of normal time remain on 5 Live in the World Service. Saka right corner of the area. Saka challenged by Christensen. Runs towards Rice. No width really on that right. Saka has stayed in the central area, but he passes the ball to Timber. Couldn't take it into his grasp. Forced out wide. Sends over the cross. In the air. Nwaneri brings it under control, but running away from the penalty area, and out he goes of that box, but he keeps possession with Arsenal. Gets it back as well as the youngster from Saka. Running forward now with purpose. Enters the penalty area. Stayed on his feet well when they had a little nibble on him. Sends over a cross. Havertz is there, drops towards Sterling. Sterling lets the ball settle. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Millwall 3, Preston 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Rice is forward now. Port Vale 2, Swindon 0. That's the latest score in League 2. Sports Report on its way. Here now is Saka. Held up a little bit, right-hand side of the penalty area. They're queuing up outside the box. Saka wants the shooting opportunity blocked. Calafiore passes the ball back. Gabriel 30 yards out from goal. Rice passes the ball now out towards Timber, right corner of the area. Nwaneri now takes over. Infield towards Sterling. Leicester have everybody back bar Jamie Vardy. What a point this would be for Steve Cooper's side against all the odds. Rice through. Nwaneri looks for a shooting opportunity, goes to ground. Christensen makes the challenge. Behind for a corner at 2-2.
The absolute giveaway of a good player has come on. The other players give him the ball every time they can. They think Nwaneri is the one that can do it for them. They've given him the ball every time he's been in space, and he's creating mayhem in there.
Haven't forgotten, I've still got to give you the latest scores in the Championship. But it's a corner kick to Arsenal. Everybody takes a breather. Saka far side the right, swings it over once again. It's gone a long way! Calafiore with a header, tipped over by Hermansen. He has been outstanding.
Yeah, he is, to be honest, he's certainly the man of the match for Leicester, but he could be man of the match, period. That is 4 brilliant saves he's made from point blank range in this second half alone. Classic back post corner from Arsenal, clean header from Calafiore, and he's there waiting for it to tip it over. However, it's another corner.
Mikel Arteta will have nightmares about Hermansen tonight. There's another corner kick on that far side. Saka again goes towards the far post, kept alive as a Gabriel was running in behind for yet another corner.
He's found his range. Saka, that far side there, it's taken him a while, most of the first half, from corner kicks, but every one of them is nailed right on where he wants it, causing mayhem to that Leicester defence.
The Arsenal supporters are baying for a 3rd goal. 2 minutes remain of normal time at 2-2. Rice with a corner kick on the left-hand side, again towards the far post. Cleared by Hermansen, only as far as Saka. Trossard couldn't keep it alive. And Justin will clear the ball out of play for a far side for a throw. And Leicester have got their backs to the wall now.
And Justin thought about going down there and lying on the ground to realise the referee ignored him. got straight back up again.
Saka with a cross from the right. Havertz is there, twisting in mid-air, and it goes over the top. The results in the Championship: Blackburn 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0. What a job John Eustace is doing at Ewood Park. Derby County 2, Norwich City 3, Sheffield Wednesday 3, West Bromwich Albion 2. Latest scores: Hull City 3, Cardiff 1. Cardiff will remain bottom. Leeds United 3, Coventry 0, Middlesbrough 2, Stoke City 0. Millwall, despite being to 10 men, are leading Preston by 3-1. Oxford Burnley is goalless, as is Portsmouth against Sheffield United. Watford 2, Sunderland 1. So that will keep West Bromwich Albion top, as there's another Leicester player down, Mavadidi on the far side. Latest scores in the Premier League after that 1-1 scoreline at St James's Park between Newcastle and Manchester City. Arsenal 2, Leicester 2 here, Brentford 1, West Ham United 1, Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, all 4 goals for Cole Palmer. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 1. And in fact, here's Pat Murphy.
It's still 1-0 to Fulham. There's 7 minutes to go, and really the game is petering out. And dare I say it, Fulham are looking quite proficient in the dark arts, Ian.
It's going on here. There's going to be a lot of added on time, I can tell you. Northampton Town 0, Mansfield Town 2, Port Vale 2, Swindon 1. Latest scores in the Football League: Leicester City are going to be making a double change. Whilst that happens, we'll go to Brentford. Henry Moran.
We're in injury time and the score remains Brentford 1, West Ham 1. Big shout for a penalty for a foul, what looked to be on Damsgaard. Nothing doing, says the referee. Brentford 1, West Ham 1.
So El Khanous has come on for Oliver Skipp. De Cordova-Reid waits to come on, and the player who's going to be coming off for Leicester City, is it Mavadidi?
Yeah.
Didn't help me when they put up the number 7 on the electronic. Oh no, that was 7 for 7 minutes of added on time. That's what confused me. Doesn't take much on a Saturday afternoon.
To be fair, he changed that very, very quickly there, so well done spotting that. And well done to George, producer, spotting it too.
So 7 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Leicester have made the double change. Arsenal 2, Leicester City 2.
Do you know, they've got some legs on there as well. You know, De Cordova-Reid, he likes to run, get forward, but he defends well as well. But Ayew, pure offensive player when he can. Good pace, and here he is chasing one right away.
Ayew is away. Vardy scampers into the penalty area. Gabriel just cruises back and marshals it safely out for a goal kick.
Terrible touch by Ayew there. He's running into space. He's got control of the ball. You either run towards the corner and kill a little bit of time, or else you go and have a shot at goal. What you don't do is miss control, give Arsenal the ball, and they can come back up the field now.
Hull City 4, Cardiff 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Another goal for Hull City. Arsenal playing the ball at the back. We're into the first minute of the 7 to be added on. Saliba passes it now towards Gabriel. Arsenal supporters, nobody leaving early, urging Gabriel to come forward, but he just slows down and hesitates as he goes to his central defensive partner. Declan Rice is also there now, and they're being patient at the moment, as now Rice over the halfway line finds Saka on that far side, the right. 2-2. Dropping points at home to Brighton might for some be acceptable, but this would feel more like a defeat for Arsenal against a struggling Leicester City side. Rice miskicks it, edge of the area, put up by Ndidi. Leicester City have it, and they now look for De Cordova-Reid, and Saliba's going to come across to get there first, but Vardy's cut off the option of going back to his goalkeeper, so instead he passes the ball square. Gabriel Jesus is going to be coming on for Arsenal.
They're trying absolutely everything just now, Arsenal, but so far Leicester have held out fairly well in these last 20 minutes or so. Having said that, it's needed their goalkeeper Hermansen to be world class. Jesus wants to come on, he can score a goal. They've got so many attack-minded players on now, Arsenal.
Here is Raheem Sterling. Calafiore, first-time cross, headed out by Fast, comes towards Gabriel, directs his header back out towards Calafiore. The 2 minutes of the minimum of 7 have already been played. Jesus waits, hands on hips down below. Arsenal are attacking in the end away towards our left-hand side. Calafiore finds Sterling, left corner of the area, back towards Rice. Rice now towards Wanyeri. Here is Timber, ahead of him is Saka, quickly closed down by Christensen. This will give Leicester City so much hope for the rest of the season to get a point. What a precious point it would be. Saka bursts into the penalty area and gets the crossover, takes a deflection. Hermansen had it covered at his near post, behind for a corner it goes.
Again, Saka, really, really good. So often in the past, he goes inside, everyone knows what he's going to do. Now, today, he's going on the outside. Look, his right foot's not great, but he asks big questions and wins a corner. And you know how dangerous Arsenal are at corners.
Well, there was an article in the match programme that said that with set pieces, every little detail they pay attention to gives them the belief that they can always create something, more than ever. Arsenal need to create something from this set piece. It's delivered now from the right hand side towards the far post, and they have smashed it! Trossard played the ball into the far post, not too sure who got the final touch. A scruffy goal, nobody cares inside the Emirates. Arsenal with a late goal. They've left it late. In the 94th minute, they lead by 3-2.
Classically, you believe in the process if you know you've got a good one. And Arsenal, time and time again in this second half, and they've got corners on the right-hand side, Saka has put it on the money. I would say he's had 4 in a row where he's whipped it with pace right to the back post, and you know how good Arsenal are in that area. They've got various players that come in from that area. Maybe the last they expected from there was Trossard. Comes off a Leicester leg there, goes in. I wonder if it's going in anyway. I don't think Arsenal fans care. It's in the back of the net. It's 3-2. Looks like they might have grabbed it out of the death.
I've seen it on the replay about 2 or 3 times. I think it might be Ndidi. But Trossard played it in. It's been credited to a Trossard goal. And all of a sudden you can feel the relief inside the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Leicester City 2. What late drama on 5 Live.
Do you know, last week they played against Manchester City, you lose that late goal. Look at Arsenal, you are devastated. They're just as happy as you were devastated last week. They managed to get this now. It's a great moment for Arsenal. And considering the entire league table was concertinaing up until those last few seconds here, Arsenal now can look down upon everyone else.
And the heroics from Hermansen. In the end, a scruffy goal he couldn't do anything about. He has been outstanding for Leicester City today. You have to feel a little for Steve Cooper when he thought that maybe they could have got a point as they try and get Vardy away and Saliba comes across on the edge of the area. And now all of a sudden, when they were desperate for the referee to keep on playing, the 7 minutes of added on time, these 90 seconds, they will want the referee to blow his whistle as soon as possible.
Yeah, and what you want now, if you're Leicester, is the game to keep on running on. But there's going to be a bunch of substitutions made now. It's going to slow it all down, and that's exactly what Arsenal want. They've got Edward, who's going to come on well, and you know he's got real pace to burn if he goes forward.
Bristol Rovers 1, Wycombe 2 is the latest score in League 1. Doncaster 0, Chesterfield 3. Hearts have got an injury time equaliser at Tynecastle. Lawrence Shanklin, Hearts 1, Ross County 1. They're all the goals as they go in around the country, as now Gabriel Jesus will be coming on. And Hudson Edouard and Fatua are also going to be coming on for Leicester City.
Yeah, Vardy's coming off. He's run his legs off today, but he's got very, very little out of that Arsenal defence. Very few people did that. He was having to do it on his own the vast majority of the time. 1-1 with Saliba. It was a good battle. But today, I think Jamie Vardy has to admit he lost that one.
Trossard, the match winner for Arsenal, comes off. Handshakes all round. Mikel Arteta pointing at his watch already, but this time will be stored by the referee as Hudson Edouard waits to come on, and Arsenal have snatched the 3 points. Indeed he's coming off.
By the way,
Collins coming off.
Jamie Vardy said, I'm not coming off. He said, no, I'm not having it. So they've changed their mind there, and they've taken a Collie off as well, and you've now got Edouard and you've got Vardy on. And do you know what? Jamie Vardy, that's a good call. You want a goal, don't take Jamie Vardy off.
So Arsenal heading for a precious 3 points, and for Everton, they are celebrating 3 precious points on Merseyside. John Bennett.
Full time, Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1. Finally a victory for Everton thanks to the brilliance of Dwight McNeil. 2 goals in 7 minutes at the start of the second half. The first was something special. Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1.
As much live reaction coming up in Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5 o'clock. We're still playing here. We've gone past the minimum of 7. Arsenal 3, Leicester City 2. Leicester 1 final throw maybe. No, they lose the ball. And Gabriel Jesus all of a sudden has got an opportunity to go and score a fourth. Enters the penalty area. Saved by Hermansen. Havertz with a tap in. Flags up on the far side. It won't count. Offside. VAR will have a look.
That's a wee bit disappointing from Jesus there. If he plays that well, he draws a defender, lets his teammate, and then they've got a tap in there. But he goes for goal himself. Let understand he's a striker. He wants to score goals. But he could have killed that and wrapped it up there. In the end, Havertz apparently has run offside. We'll have it checked, but he did look quite far ahead of the defenders when he actually poked it into the net.
A range of emotions that Mikel Arteta must have faced here today. His side cruising at 2-0.
Do you know what? That goal's going to stand. That goal is going to stand. I'm pretty sure it will. Unless Havertz has touched the ball with his hand. I cannot see an offside there. You know, because when it was played initially, Havertz was onside. He said to the referee, I'm sure I was onside there. It was the final touch. Did it come from an Arsenal boot or was it a Leicester one? I'm sure it was Leicester. Just wait, you'll know by the reaction of those fans in a few seconds.
Well, the fact that they're taking so long gives it every chance that it will be given.
Yeah.
And indeed it is. Leicester's last visit here was August 2022. Arsenal won by 4 goals to 2. They're now leading by 4 goals to 2. And at last they can take one huge breath to say, yeah, we've got the 3 points that we desperately wanted.
Do you know what, when you look back at it afterwards and look at it as a 4-2 to Arsenal, you think that must have been a bit of a cruise. It was anything but a cruise this afternoon. But they've shown that they can keep on going to the end. They will fight all the way. They've got belief in the process that they have. And well done, Arsenal, for that. But wow, how sad you feel for Leicester, because they've given it a go in their second half.
They certainly have. And talking of 4-2, John Southall.
4-2 at half-time. Cole Palmer with all 4, a hat-trick within 31 minutes from 10 touches, the fourth 10 minutes later. Could have scored 7 today. Jackson missed a couple in the second half. Brighton will need to look at the way they're conceding goals, but the day belongs to Cole Palmer. Chelsea 4, Brighton 2.
We are in the 10th minute of added on time. Havertz away on the far side. Fast comes across. Look at the wretch. That's it. It's finished. Sports Report coming up. Finished here. 4-2.